Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and welcome back to some more Arknights, because today we are going to be beginning our story reading of episode 14, Absolved Will Be the Seekers, for Arknights, the supposed finale of the Londinium arc. My personal favorite arc in all of Arknights, mainly because it is very political. It has some of the best writing to ever come out of this game. And I'm just very excited to see how it all ends. All the strings are converging into the center of Londinium towards the shard. A recap of everything that's happened before. The Exemplars have assembled together. We have Siege's squad in the outskirts of Londinium, trying to help everyone that they can, heading back in towards the center. We have Amiya and squad. Recently, apparently, not successfully. I don't know what's up with the gameplay, why they showed us a Sanguinarch, but recently killing off the Sanguinarch, throwing his bozo ass off into the void. And then we have Chen and Bagpipe somewhere in the mix. Tallulah also getting dragged in along with the reunion somewhere in the outskirts. While we have to reckon with the ghost of Babel, the ghost of Theresa, all the way in the center. Revived by profane magics, by her own brother and the Confessari. And we might even get to see, I don't know, we might even get to see the followers. The followers? Neural Squad come in because of the gameplay. I don't know, I'm excited. But first of all, I just logged in. I haven't done my dailies yet. I just did my farming. I was actually capped. I keep forgetting to not cap sanity. But it is what it is. What have I been doing in the past day since we streamed last night? I have usual just been playing Magic the Gathering Arena. Brawl has been very fun. Aside from that, I've been playing Pokemon TCG Pocket. Not really playing. That's not a game you play. It is a card collection game, more like a gacha game than an actual playable card game. Hello, Dust. This chapter was Speak. I know, I'm so excited. I'm in for a treat. Yeah. Come on, give me at least a 5-star. A 5-star for my troubles, because I need like 3 more gold certs to buy out all the 40 full tickets in the monthly shop. Come on, baby, give me a 5. That's not a 5-star. Okay. So yeah, there's that. In Pokemon TCG Pocket, I keep trying to open Mewtwo packs in order to get a playable set of Gardevoir for my Mewtwo EX deck. And it keeps giving me Mewtwo EX. I'm like, no, I don't need any more. Stop giving me Mewtwo EX. I just want a lowly rare card. Is it uncommon rare? I don't know what the rarities are in fucking Pokemon. I just want 2 Gardevoirs to put in my deck, and it keeps giving me one of the rarest cards in the set. You're missing 1 cert for your own gold cert shop. Come on, give me. This is a top operator tag. Look at this magic. Wow, that's not a top operator tag. Okay, never mind. Also, this new background music is kinda banging. It came with the new background that you get for finishing. God damn. W! Get out of the way. Wait, make you smaller. There you go. Get out of the way. It came with finishing chapter 14. So it's a field of flowers, which is a callback to callback to Babel, when her and Kelsey were doing experiments in how to grow flowers in an originium-rich environment. So yeah, there's that. Cool music. Restore default. There we go. You don't either? You only play the digital versions? You played C there to live the lie? Okay, oh, we still have 1 free roll. I mean, just a casual free 6-star. Look at this. Go! That's not a 6-star. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So let's just finish up our housekeeping and then we'll get to the story. I gotta remember to actually... Oh, everyone is... My whole base is stuck. I can't wait for the base upgrade. I'm not entirely sure how much the base is gonna upgrade. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna buff your resource gain because it's a gacha game. They're gonna time gate you and shit. At least they're gonna put some quality of life into the base, which is something. I still think they should increase the resource gain after 5 years. At a certain point, you can't play with a vast majority of any of the characters you get because of the time gating of resources. Control center, I need you all to skedaddle. Get into the dormitory. I need my how many altars are available? Whatever. Read? There we go. Reception, put you there before we start so we don't waste any of this stamina. Yeah. And then we put these back in. They say there's gonna be another update for the base after the initial base update for 5.5. Oh my god, they're not just doing a one-off thing. They're actually considering the base. Wow. That's good. I sincerely hope they increase the resource gain. Holy fuck, I want to level up so many operators. Anyway, I'm still mastering my W. That's right, she had a name change. No more dead naming her. Wiš'adel. Still think it's kind of dumb that W named herself Wiš'adel just because of Theresa's wish for a Kazdel. A Wiš'adel, if you will. But that is our idiot. She is our idiot. Okay, reception 1, thank you. What? No clue for? No clue for? I'm willing to trade, fair trade. You could have a full set. Which one of you wants a full set? Which one of you needs a 2? You need a 2. Oh yeah, by the way, friend list increased. So, if you guys want to add me, feel free to do so. My UID should be in the main menu. Yeah. Which one of you needs a 5? Oh, you need a 5. Okay, there you go. And just use our materials. And then we should be good. Eat this. Eat this. Take it, Proviso. Yeah, give me all that LMD, Proviso. I have about 4 million. There we go. Okay, I think that is everything settled. Everything is good and Gucci. Okay, I will take a sip of my soda. It is time. It is time to get into chapter 14. Absolved will be the seekers. I will turn off cursor. There we go, so it doesn't interfere. Let's grab this first. Go to the main theme. Okay, so I have no idea what the best stopping point will be. So I'll just call it when it comes. Anyway, I think this will take less than 3 sessions if we go at a brisk pace. Surely it can't be. Well, it's a main theme. It's probably gonna be longer than Babel. Oh, here we go. Prepare to seek the ending. Fallen from memory. Time to start. The beginning of the end of the Londinium arc. But at 40. Not every meeting has a beautiful ending, Amiya. A lot of stories end suddenly, a lot of stories keep us tossing and turning in our beds, and some stories end with a long, long sigh. In a wilderness without end, people meet and go their separate ways, but at the crucial moment when we cross paths, no one knows if we should really be saying such solemn goodbyes. You're gonna have me crying. First chapter, this fucking game. Flashback to Babel times. Come in. Theresa, you're back. Amiya? What's the matter? Look what time it is. You should be in bed if you don't want Kelsey getting angry with you. I know, but I can't sleep. Want me to sleep with you? It's okay, if you still have work to do, You've been waiting for me all day, haven't you? Did something happen? No, everyone's been very nice to me and I'm keeping up with my homework too. I've finished all my assignments that Dr. Kelsey gave me. But I know you've been really busy and I shouldn't bother you, but I don't know why I really wanted to see you today. Is that right? Come, Amiya, I'm here. Theresa kneels down and hugs Amiya. I'm here for you now. Alright. I saw you standing here by yourself Waiting while everyone else was gone for so long. I still remember the look on your face. I don't get it. Are you worried about something? Isn't everyone saying we're about to win? Oh, this is right before... right before the Castle operation. Yes, there's always good news. Our fighters captured another town. We advanced our positions once more. Castle, our home, is closer than ever. But... Amiya, Babel still has a very long journey ahead of us. Our goal is so far away. I don't actually even know if we're still sailing towards our original destination. Theresa lets out a brief sigh and looks into the distance. Amiya follows Theresa's gaze but finds nothing. Babel does not exist to win victories. It never has. Victories and scars go hand in hand, and those scars are far more difficult than we anticipated to heal. Or rather, can they even be healed? Theresa's voice is very soft, almost like a dream melted away in water. As a cloud of mist rises, the brief and momentary smile that she had before now seems distant and hazy. The young goddess girl thinks that for a moment or two, the woman holding her hand all this time almost seemed to have disappeared into the mist itself. Ah, that's a callback to chapter 11 or 12 Into the Mist. Ha ha, I caught that. And so Amiya makes the effort to stand on her tiptoes and stretches her hand out. The young girl's soft fingertips touch the forehead between the eyes of the King of the Sarkas. She tries to smooth those knitted brows. They can. They will. Theresa, I still remember what you told me. Perhaps one day we'll be able to let everyone on this vast land fall into peaceful slumber. Right. That includes you and me. Go, Amiya. We have lots of time to talk about the future, but if you stay up all night, you won't be getting any taller. She hasn't gotten that much taller. It's chapter 11. I knew I remembered my lore. What are you going to do if you're still a tiny bean by the time Rhodes Island is proudly sailing across the vast lands? She's still a tiny bean! But she's also a murderous tiny bean! If I point my ears up, I'll look taller, won't I? Yeah. Goddesses can do that. Not a lot of goddesses. Some goddesses in Rhodes Island, we see them with flap down ears like Airscape. You really don't want to go back to your room, don't you? I'm not being naughty, I'm just... Alright, let's not tell Kelsey then. You could stay a little longer. It's been a while since I told you a story, hasn't it? It's okay, I still remember all the stories you told me. A long time ago, there was a great big desert and a tiny little doll made of sackcloth. The little puppet swore he would cross the desert to find the legendary Plains of Hope. But you've never told me how the story ends. Oh, that one. There were a lot of scary things out there in the desert. If I were to tell you, you'd never sleep again. Scary things in the desert. Nah, we just have to start going in events. That's scary enough. I'm not scared of them. Besides, with you telling the story, I'm sure it'll have a nice ending. Alright. The desert was so vast and wide, like there was no end to it. Did I play all the stages? Yes, we played all the stages yesterday. We have some gameplay teasers of what happens. My little puppet has been through so many great adventures, and at last he made it. His goal was right in front of him. The Plains of Hope. Did I get the Civilized Eterna? Yes, I picked it up. The Civilized Eterna. What were the plains like? The kind of place that anyone would like to call home. The kind of place with all the carrot pies I could eat? With everybody on the land ship too? Maybe. But things are never that easy in these stories. He still had to overcome the last obstacle that stood in his way. The desert was very cold, and the wind there never stopped. In the light of the twin moons, there seemed to be some black cloaked shadows whispering to themselves, but the moment he looked for them, they disappeared. What were these black cloaked shadows? They were the echoes of the oldest despair and sadness. If they catch you, you'll never escape them. The shadows whispered among themselves and laid trap after trap to stop the puppet. The black cloaked shadows didn't want to let the puppet make it any further. They did everything they could to try to get him to turn around. Because if the puppet made it through the desert, hope would start to spread their way, and they would disappear. But the puppet didn't know that. His goal never once changed. The puppet made it past their traps and foiled their plans. All the tricks they had up their sleeves had failed. They were furious, and they decided that they weren't going to hide anymore. They were going to duke it out with the puppet and fight him to the death. When he saw the shadows rushing towards him, the puppet took out a long spear made of a needle and some threads. Oh, this is a personal story of Theresa, because we know from Babel that she was a weaver in a time past. She held a spear. Her weapon is a spear. Theresa, why did they become the echoes of despair and sadness? Persecution. Persecution by every other nation on Terra. Well, about that. Did they catch her apathy, and the pain kept them up at night? Then maybe the puppet could cure them, just like what you and Dr. Kelsey want to do. Cure them. If the puppet cured them and turned them into happy and peaceful shadows, and everybody could go to the plains of hope together, right? Were they born baddies who like to scare people? No, dear, of course not. The puppet found out that they all had wounds on their bodies. It was the wounds that turned them into who they were. Yeah, the sarcasm. Couldn't he fix them up with his needle and thread, just like what you always do? Maybe. Perhaps it's worth a try. Yawns. Oh, I'm tired. Sleepy? No, I'm not. Did he do it? The puppet tried over and over. The stitches were thick and ugly. The black cloaked shadows were livid. What happened next? Maybe peace and happiness don't really come so easily, but in the end they decided to let the puppet go. Which is what happened in Babel. This is exactly what happened in Babel. The black cloaked shadows watched the puppet walk into the distance. They decided they'd let the puppet give it a shot, but a big river stood before him. He didn't even know how wide it was. All he knew was that he couldn't see the other side of the river. He knew that the plains of hope were on the other side, but there weren't any boats nearby. There wasn't even a decently sized frond. What do I do now? The puppet thought to himself, and he decided to see if he could swim across. But he's a cloth puppet. Right, he was made of cloth. If he got wet, he would only get heavier and heavier until he sank to the bottom of the river. But if he stopped here, his journey would have been for nothing. He leapt into the water and found that the river was cold and salty like tears. Apparently, a lot of people across the lands wanted to go to the plains, but not one of them succeeded. It was their tears that formed this river. The puppet finally understood just how many people shed tears over this. And she's asleep, she's knocked out! The puppet swam and swam. He felt his body slowly soaking up the tears. Did the other side of the river really exist? Perhaps the shadows were right. It was called the Plains of Hope because no one could truly make it there. Perhaps... People speak different languages and their hearts are not connected. Home. Home. But a river meant that there must be a source to return to. Sleep soundly, Amiya. Good night. Well, that was a melancholic flashback. Totally not trying to pull on our heartstrings recently shredded by Babel. Amiya has no idea how she got back to her room. That night she slept very soundly. Did the puppet make it across the shore? What happened in the end? A ravine suddenly appeared. Just like that, the two sides have lost contact. And here we are, back in present day at Ursula. Ursula? Mia? Ah, Doctor, when did you get back? Is everyone waiting for me? I'm sorry, I'll just need a minute. Good job with the battle. You did well during the battle. Yeah, we tossed that bozo off, and he fell into the void. Surely he's not gonna come back anytime soon. Surely the Sanguine Arc isn't gonna come back. Yeah. It's okay, Doctor. I'm all ready. Let's head over there together. My heart springs will be shredded later. Great. Looking forward to it. Ah, Siege! And the Exemplar squad. We're about ready for departure. Every one of us has to leave for Brentwood. Good thing these bones are large enough for all of us to fit in. We're commandeering Ursula! Oh my god, we're getting a flying necromantic whale boat. Whale ship thing. The military commission must already have caught wind that we've taken control of the town and the lifebone. It goes without saying that the skeleton is of tremendous importance. Their counteroffensive might already be on the way. Perhaps the Sarkaz are watching our every move as we speak. Ever since our rapid tactical unit, the Witchling, took to the skies, it's always felt like somebody's been watching us in the mist. It's unnerving. The Nezeru King! Neznecker, whatever it's called. The battle will only get more dangerous from here on out. We all know that. The Exemplars will not give up their counter-offensive on Londinium. We have no choice. Victorious people have endured this long enough already. Good thing we seized the skeleton. Under ideal conditions, it'll serve as a temporary stronghold. The wounded and civilians will also get to settle down a little. Besides, if what Hodor said was true, it can teleport anywhere, although it might make the users nauseous. It travels through the void to get to places, but sure. There's indeed some appreciated help, but something is bothering me. Why wouldn't the military commission defend such an important transport to the death? Perhaps they gave up because of the pressure of the battlefield, or perhaps Ducarel, the Sanguine Arc, underestimated his enemies. But it's more likely that their plan in Londinium has already reached a stage where they can't afford to worry about anything happening outside. The Sanguine Arc still completed his final ritual. They may be exactly... Okay, burping! They may be exactly why they turned their gaze not to the lifebone, but somewhere else. Hodor has finished negotiating with the consciousness left in the skeleton. It will... yes, listen to our proposal. With its help, we will be able to return to the battlefield at any moment. Just Hodor having a little chit-chat with a big, undead Farenmet. Most importantly, it'll give us an opportunity to get close to the airship and the shard. If we make use of this trump card, well, just maybe we'll be able to mount an airborne assault on central Londinium. Take out their headquarters directly. Good, I like that. The area around the shard is heavily guarded. My guess is that the military commission's airship won't let us hover over their heads without a fight. All we can do is find an opening for our strike team to enter, and as soon as they've made it in, we'll have the lifebone depart. That means the strike team can't retreat. It's a suicide mission. But at the same time, we still have to get to the bottom of what's been bothering Amiya. What exactly are the Sarkaz planning? And how to foil their little tricks? We won't be able to take the shard with this little time by ourselves, but we still have friends inside the massive city. We need to get in touch with them. The Liberation Force! According to our intelligence, there likely aren't many combatants stationed inside the shard. Based on my experience fighting their commander, Theresis, Amiya, what would you say our chances are? No, we should avoid direct confrontation with them at all costs. No one is strong enough to single-handedly defeat Theresis. Maybe Mjolnir? Maybe Mjolnir might be strong enough. Besides, our greatest threat right now is not a single powerful Sarkaz hero. Rather, it is their ambition to see that their plans come to fruition. We'll only be able to end this war quickly by stopping it from happening. Few squads on their own can't end the war, we still need the Victorian military. It's true that the Duke of Windermere perishing on the front lines is beyond what any of us might have... Oh. Forgive me, Lady Delphine. Standing beside you now is an intelligence officer of the service in the service of the Duke of Windermere, not her daughter. Pay me no mind. The Duke of Windermere's untimely passing has disrupted the fragile balance on the outskirts of Londinium. They're on the brink of war. Until a few weeks ago, I was still under the impression that if the Dukes were to put their minds to it and attack Londinium together, Sarkaz's defeat would have been all but assured. This will be a decisive battle, one far worse than what any of the bigwigs have been anticipating. I'd like to say that they wish this upon themselves, but the frontline soldiers and innocent citizens who are suffering right now. It's them. So when the time comes, who's going to win? Us, the Exemplars, or the Dukes? Oh, sorry, I guess I shouldn't be asking that before an operation. It's fine. I know what it is you're worried about. Grandma! We need Grandma to join us! Why do we have to wait 6 months for Granny to become an operator? Holy fuck. Oder having a chat with the Lifebone about the date of the next U official stream? Probably. There's no need to worry. A great many people stood up, raised their heads, and woke from their dreams because of this calamity, whether willingly or forced. You are far from the only ones. We need to focus on the problem at hand. How to break through the battlefield for our Londinium counteroffensive, as well as how to stop the Shard's strikes. It won't be easy. The next step in the Sarkaz plan most likely has to do with Originium. Really? Wow, never would have thought of that. Whose fault is that again, huh, Oracle? It's very likely that they will apply ancient Sarkaz research on Originium. We don't have time, we need to decide on a route for advance. This is a more proactive approach. Taking the battlefield head-on is our one and only choice. We received a transmission indicating we have several Rhodes Island support teams on the way. There are many things we will only be able to accomplish here as Rhodes Island. I will command their operation. Put this crisis behind us. So that's a little mini game that they have. Commanding Rhodes Island, trying to get back into Londinium while we're inside here. Seems none of us have any objections, that being the case. Everyone turns to Amiya. Suddenly you feel a hint of relief, gratification, excitement, and pride. After all, you are standing right beside her. This war has come to a head, and Theresis intends to use some more decisive and forceful means to tear Victoria to shreds. This has nothing to do with whether the Sarkaz truly have a right to revenge. It has nothing to do to whether the nobles may bear this heavy burden for Victoria. If we solve all our problems by destroying our enemies, then this land, plagued by war from the beginning, has no hope. The Confessari and Theresis are there, at the heart of Londinium, toppling this entire empire, standing on shaky ground. Ground? Words are hard. Hey yo, Artie, what's up? We're just getting into it. We're getting right into chapter 14. The beginning of the end of the Londinium arc. I will go to them and I will stop them. For that future and for the future of all. That's our little bunny girl! That is our daughter! Ah! The Arknights duo. Oh, where's the idiot? Is he still talking to the Lifebone about you, official? Isn't a big gap like this a waste? I got some real juicy explosives from Closure, enough to pack every corner of this place full. And wait, was that? Yeah. And they're still cooking up stupid ideas like mounting an attack on Londinium. This is a military commission we're talking about. Who knows what tricks Theresa's got up his sleeve? So, bomb the place, straight up! Why do you think the military commission went through all that trouble to hide the skeleton, instead of treating it like a second airship? This thing is fragile. It's only thanks to the witchcraft device that we can communicate with the Fahrenmit's lingering breath of life. An attack, no matter how weak, could spell the end of it. You think I'm talking about dropping bombs out of it? I'm saying let's make it into the bomb. Okay, calm down, W. Calm down! Let's not make the Faramid into a big bomb! A bomb that can fly just about anywhere it wants. That can fly right into Theresa's face at any moment. The perfect bomb. What, you're still thinking about letting it take us back to Wiš'adel? If we don't deal with Theresis, we aren't going anywhere. Let's take the simplest path to solving our problems here. Got something to share with the class? Nothing at all, but I didn't expect to see you so tense. Should I teach you a few deep breathing techniques? Huh? Whatever, W. Get in the right frame of mind for this operation. Otherwise, no amount of explosives is going to fix what's going on in your head. Ooh, I do love the spicy banter. That just means we're gonna need even more bombs. If you say so. Phew. Innes. What? Remember when we ran into that lich the other day? Never mind, forget it. You're wondering whether Theresa out there is real or not again, aren't you? Enough of that already. I'm not the only one you need to convince. I wasn't the one who called her a fake first either. Did I ever tell you your arts are disgusting? I didn't need to read your shadow. You've been pretty anxious for a while now. What will you do if you run into her again? I told you, it's a fake. I'm gonna kill it and be done with this. And what if it's not? Then I'll rescue her and get to the bottom of everything. That's Theresa. I know. I think you don't. You haven't figured out how to treat Theresa. How to handle an enemy leader. That's a taboo, and you know it far better than I do. Fucking Innes! I'ma just replace every sarcasm expletive with fuck. You know what pisses me off the most? I remember a lot of stuff. I remember the crystal on the head of the old fart who taught me how to make explosives. I remember the prices on your heads. I remember how Her Highness wrestled with a door, and how Kelsey once got her hair caught in the same door. I remember all these things that don't fucking matter. But I don't remember. I can't for the life of me remember when the last time I saw her was or even what we talked about. Yeah, I barely even had a normal conversation with her. There were so many of us on that ship, I was small potatoes, and she was Babel's chairman. It was probably a joke, some silly complaint or nagging. But it definitely wasn't a goodbye. This time, I'll make up for that and say it. Then I won't forget. Anyways, I've got to get my mercs checking over the equipment. This is gonna be one hell of a job. Whatever you say. But if your legs give out on you and you need somebody to give you a good kick in the ass, you know who to call. W, showing some vulnerability whenever it comes to Theresa. Yeah. This nightmare has gone on long enough. We should be looking straight ahead. You would pay to see Kelsey's hair caught in a door? Same. Still though, there's this whole mystery on what the hell and why this version of Theresa has sided with the military commission. Because everything we've seen from Babel thus far has shown that she has been against more war and bloodshed. She hoped for the future of all Terrans. So what kind of profane magics or what kind of sweet nothings did her brother tell her upon her revival? All preparations are complete. The airship is ready to take flight. Yes. It will all be over soon. Come, walk with me one last time, Theresis. Farewell. The Military Commission of Wiš'adel has secretly constructed airship docks just like this one in the support layers of several sectors throughout Londinium. This is the largest among them and is where the airship was born. The ship is seen as a terrifying weapon of war, a herald of destruction, and a flying fortress. But a very few are aware of the original intent behind the airship's construction. It is to uncover a buried secret. And beyond that, it is to break free of an eternal shackle. The brother and sister are walking in the great ship dock down a long passageway, where every Sarkaz they pass stops and greets the two of them. When was the last time they had a nice walk like this together? Thinking about it, compared to the amount of time they spent together, the days that have passed is nothing. But they were also long enough. Taking a sip of my soda. What's on your mind, Theresa? I suddenly remembered that when Kazdel was rebuilt into a nomadic city, we stood next to each other on the city walls, shoulder to shoulder, just like this. It was supposed to be a happy day, but then it rained. Some said it was a bad omen, but I still remember how the soul furnace's flames looked all the brighter in the rain. And there's more. I'm suddenly remembering so much. It's been too long. It has been too long indeed. From Kazdel to Kazdel, our goals lie right before us. There is but one last step to our plan. Those who walk after us will find the great city standing tall upon this land. We, Sarkaz, will do as we wish, seizing control of our own fate. I need you. Yes, I know. The warriors who once firmly believed in your path. The girl who is called the King of Sarkaz. They've all come before you now. Of course they came. I always believed they would. Have you decided how you will confront them? I've never once been confused, but I had hoped this day would take longer to arrive. Now that it's come to this, I actually feel... I underestimated those I should have had faith in. Theresis, I'm delighted. I'm delighted that even after we made this decision, they are still willing to stand up against us. They are decisive and strong, and they are growing at an unimaginable pace. Perhaps they will make their way to you in the end. They may be much stronger now than the woman I was, the one who couldn't accomplish anything. I'm looking forward to it. Then it's time for me to leave too. What kind of profane magics did they do to her that she sided with Theresa's? Thinking emoji? Theresa steps onto the airship's gangway while Theresa steps on the gangway while Theresis remains where he stands, quietly watching her. Theresa, this time we should bid each other a proper farewell. Theresa reaches her hand and smooths out the creases on Theresa's cloak. Goodbye. Goodbye. The silence lasts until the steel door closes and its thick shadow shrouds the two of them. They say nothing more. The pulsing of the myriad souls is ceaseless. Theresa lightly closes her eyes to bear with its surge. The endless murmurs are just like a tide. It exhausts. It drags those within it ever downward, and it suffocates. Just like the river that she was telling Amiya in the story. Perhaps within it once existed brief moments of happiness or the occasional delight, but there is simply too much pain. So much that the pain permeates every word and sentence. Oh, myriad souls, even though I almost completely exhausted myself, I still cannot see the other side. Shattered hearts abound on these lands. And so, even if I have only grief at my disposal, even if my body was wrought of tears, be my oar and be my ark. Let tears carry tears, and let suffering lift up suffering. It's time that we set sail. Things are set up. What the fuck is this? Oh wait. Right. It's the center of Ursula. Logos is examining the bone whistle in his hands. He knows every pattern carved into it and every wear and tear on its surface. He remembers receiving this from his mother when he was still a small child. Its sound was not nearly as sonorous and vivid as it is now. Order! You done? So, this is a Banshee's bone whistle. It's my first time seeing the real thing. Banshees are a rare sight among mercenaries to begin with, much less one with a bone whistle. That said, I've heard plenty of stories about the bone whistle. It's a symbol of terror. Its sounds foretell death's pursuit. The Banshees portend death, and willingly serve as the embodiment of death and danger. But I rarely ever saw you use the whistle. Not at Babel all those years ago or at Rhodes Island now. Vampire. Accuse you of rejecting the power of your bloodline. It already sounded. It need not sound again. Metaphors about death itself are a dime a dozen, but what comes after death? True, the Banshees portend death, but nothing more. If death wasn't the end of all beings, and there was more than nothingness after the toll of the death knell, then this foretelling would have been meaningless. That's why we set down the bone whistle for bone pens. New meaning is born from the pen's tips, while the past is only recorded by the same tips. This is why we stand together now, Hoderer. Is that right? Yes, towards the other side of death, rebirth. It matters not what Theresis intends to accomplish, this war will not and cannot be allowed to develop into a raging fire that destroys the Sarkaz as history has seen countless times before. Having burned for so long, this hatred cannot be easily extinguished, but we can stop it from engulfing all souls upon this land. That includes each and every race there is. Doctor, hold on tight. Final battle is about to begin. The Farenmit's skeleton wriggles its body and once again dives straight into history. The fragments of time are like bubbles in a muddy stream. After they break up, the remains are still vague and indistinct. Amiya feels the rippling space-time rushing past her. You look at her and see her eyelashes twitching. What exactly does she see? Perhaps nothing more than reflections passing by or fleeting hallucinations. The distance between memories and history is always much longer than you expect. Ayo! Space whales in the sky! I'm never gonna shut up about fucking sky whales. The sky whales are gonna be so important for the future of Arknights. Holy fuck! And now we're riding on Ursula. Countless sceneries, both ancient and modern, sweep by under the Farenmit's frame. Those who find themselves within are astonished by this advancement or regression of times, the disasters that unfold before them, and the happiness in their hands. But when looking upon them from high above, perhaps these sights have never actually changed. Then, the illusion grows much stronger and more twisted. Can it go back in time to stop Theresa from getting assassinated? I don't think so. A seed is... Also, is the music too loud or is it just fine? Sound check! Is the music too loud or are we just cool? A seed is rapaciously absorbing nutrients. Okay, it's fine. Good. It writhes, whimpers, trying to tear away all fabricated representation. This creation, far beyond human comprehension, waits silently. The slightest movement is enough to rend the continent and allow crystals to proliferate. No, this isn't right. You official stream was supposed to be tomorrow. What do you mean she cancelled her stream? This isn't the Farenmit's power. Sky. The entire sky is burning red. Witchcraft. The lifeboat is out of control. It's been pulled off the original course. Are we under attack? Prepare to meet the enemy. Guard the entrances to the cabins. Watch for attacking aircraft. We're preparing anti-boarding measures. All non-combatants retreat to your shelters. Mercs, fan out! Don't let any drooling morons onto the ship. Any damage reports? I'm checking, but what's going on? This makes no sense. The sensors I set up are all reading normal. The skeleton's not damaged at all. I just got word from the observation post. They've spotted no enemies. We're losing altitude. I can't control it. What the fuck is happening? Isn't the skeleton your best friend, Hodor? Get it to chill out. Never change, W. Hodor, can you adjust course at all? We mustn't land in the center of the battlefield. I'm trying. Buckle up, everybody. I don't want anyone getting flung out through the gaps of the bones. I've sent out my drones to try to pull the Fairness bones back and reduce the impact of the crash. Don't get your hopes up, though. Our descent isn't slowing, going by the current speed. We'll hit the ground very soon. The meaning of language shall grant us wings. I command these words to lift this weight. Save us, Logos! It's working. Keep chanting your incantations, Banshee. Hodor, keep steering us north. There's a valley up there. We should fit right in. Kinky. I'm on it, but my link with the Fairness is fading. I can't control it much longer. Did he lie to me about being a U official stan? Monster. Protect the doctor. Prepare for impact. Joyful howling from Monster. This isn't exactly comfy. Its claws are digging into me! Calm down, Doctor. You'll be fine. Mia, how are things going over? All the wounded and civilians have been relocated. Feist and Rock are working on getting the transport secured. Got it. Innes, my mercs have anything to say? They're all here with me, working on getting some witchcraft going. We'll need a little more time. We should be able to withstand half of the impact's force. Tell Hodor these bones won't shatter here. Valley's in sight. Our angle's not quite there yet. We need to turn left another 20 degrees. Last chance for adjustments. 20 degrees, I'm certain of it. All hands, brace for impact. The rest comes down to luck. 10 seconds to impact. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just like that, chapter 14 is over. Bad end. Bad end! See you guys next time! That's the end of Arknights. Everyone's dead. Monster surprisingly very joyful to hold on to us. Should have traveled by foot. But why travel by foot when you can travel by necromantic whale? "30 minutes earlier. Underground structure, Highbury Borough, Londinium. In case we forgot that we're in an underground structure in Highbury Borough, within the territory of Londinium. You're back. How are things up top? Same as ever. Maybe worse. I used to be scared of those devil mercenaries who ask you for a smoke. The worst you'll get is a slap in the face if they feel like it. But now, it's all monsters you can't even describe. They'll turn you into a puddle of blood without so much as blinking. You know what? I've been sleeping better. Why'd I give these British people Australian or American accents? Because I know that there's nothing but death if I run into one of them. But the Sarkaz still grabbing workers off the streets. Didn't see anything. We didn't dare to go far. Seems like the Sarkaz aren't interested in running the city anymore. There's no one maintaining public order. They couldn't fully occupy Londinium, could they? What use is it to them? Are they really planning to drive Victorian capital all the way back to Gazdel? Who knows? Maybe I haven't a clue what they're trying to do. Why go through so much trouble if they want to kill everyone? Catherine! My gilf! Come to me! Make her playable now! John Lowlight Hypergriff, make her playable now! Real hag enjoyers, rise up! How sad. Those who betrayed their friends for a better future are soon betrayed by the better future. No one expected things to turn out like this. You know we didn't mean to. Let me guess. You mean us no harm, but handed us to the defense forces out of fear. How kind and gentle. You all deserve a medal. Catherine, save it. I don't have time to dig up old grudges. Not that it would help anything anyway. At least you didn't gift wrap my head in Feist and give them to the Sarkaz. The question is, what do we do now? We could hide here. We know the underground passages better than the Sarkaz. That's your plan, Tommy? Live underground for the rest of your life like a talpy beast? Why don't you just, hide in a coffin then? I don't blame you for what you did. Given a choice, no one wants to go to war. But war is here now, right here in our homes. There's nowhere to run. I ran into a few fellows who said they could get us some decent weapons, I reckon. Is that thunder? Rain would be really nice right now. That is a catastrophe forming. Theresis is using the shard. Why is it shaking? Is Londinium on the move? But the mobility level is... Something's not right. Let's head up and see what's happening. Be careful. What is it, Catherine? You're blocking the window. The massive silhouette of the shard is just visible from here. The most familiar sight and the pride of all those who call Londinium home. But the annoying yet comforting blankets of clouds above are nowhere to be seen. Wait, what's on top of the shard? Take all our supplies and contact everyone we can. We need to move deeper underground, now! Hurry! The catastrophe is forming. Within Londinium, within the capital. Oh, yeah, right. The Duke of Windermere's battleship. Wait, is Delphin on here or is she up on Ursula? Oh, wait, this is not the Duke of Windermere's battleship. It is the Duke of Castor. We're approaching Silver Rock Bluffs. That means the attacks will start soon. Also, hags! That's also another reason why the Londinium arc is my favorite arc in all of Arknights. We have so many hags! Outcast! Granny! Catherine! Duke of Castor! When I first heard Wellington's plan a few days ago, do you know what my initial reaction was? Also, I don't mean hags derogatorily. I say it in a loving way. You thought I was too ambitious, Your Grace. Ambitious? I think you mean crazy. Yes, crazy. He wants the entire Allied forces committed to the front lines. 13 dreadnoughts, 45 assault ships, 172 gunboats, 86 transports, 10 support ships, all our artillery, and 180,000 infantry, including the entire reserves. It wasn't an inquiry or request, it was a notice, almost an order. The Duke of Wellington also has abandoned the traditional Gaulish formation of multiple battle lines, instead having all fleets form single files to penetrate the Nezeru line all at once. Gododin and the forces are to be responsible for fire support and clearing out the casters in the Sarkaz's rear, while Wellington's vanguard charges at the center of the Nezeru formation. The Silver Rock Bluffs, currently under Sarkaz, controls a key pass between the Redmane Mountains and the Duskglow River, and the highly defensible position. The enemy can easily retreat towards Londinium even if we win the battle. I would have staunchly opposed the plan if it was not Wellington who proposed it. But you and the rest of the High Commanders eventually consented to it. We've seen similar tactics in the military academics. They were the same tactics used in the legendary Battle of the War of the Four Nations in which Duke Wellington fought. The Victorian-Lithuanian alliance split the Gaulish lines into three and quashed their resistance. That battle put Victorian on a new course for the next several decades. Glorious as it may be, the past is no place to find a refuge in. You also think that the Iron Duke has grown old? Wellington is a military genius. He commands the battleships with the same ease and grace as a Lithuanian virtuoso. I have never seen anyone quite like him. He's not one of those old fools blindly chasing the glory of the past. The sarcasm is not the end, but merely the beginning of the end of the real battle. As for here and now, it's not just Wellington who needs a decisive victory. The Sarkaz have the shard, and they have successfully fired it before. They could attack us or anywhere in Victoria at any moment. That's right, they shot a big hole into a battleship. However, our war scholars deem any losses from Sarkaz catastrophe attacks to be within acceptable limits. Those losses will not compromise our ability to achieve our strategic objective. The Sarkaz have not refueled Londinium since it deviated from course. The city is immobile as of now. Once we take the pass at Silver Rock Bluffs, the Sarkaz will no longer have a terrain advantage, and the Allied fleets will be able to clear a path to Londinium. Indeed, if everything goes well, we will be able to end this meaningless stalemate as quickly as possible. Yet the word stalemate isn't an apt description for the Sarkaz of Victoria. Telegrams from the caster are increasingly impatient. One cannot fault our backers for it. War is far too expensive. Promise fulfilled too late is a promise unfulfilled. Duke of Wellington, old as hell. Last war, the War of the Four Nations, when they took down the French. It happened 60 years ago. So at minimum, he's probably gotta be like 80. Or if they were in their 30s, they would have been 90. That's why the French are gone. And why we say croissant instead of croissant. Croissant? Croissant? Croissant! Are those the cannons of Gastrel going off? The Duke of Wellington's attacks have begun, but it's not time yet. Your Grace, what's that red light coming from the distance? That light, it's coming from the top of the shard. Oh, moments before impact. Hail Wellington right now, we must! You gotta be fucking kidding me, Lowlight. You're gonna murk another Gilf! Oh my god, Lowlight! How many Gilfs must you murder in this fucking arc? Ah! No! Goddamn. Well, shit. Oh, we didn't see them blow up, per se. I mean, no body, no confirmation, right? Ouch. We survived the crash. Doctor, are you okay? Doctor will be fine. Monster absorbed the brunt of the impact. How are the others? The good news is that we fell into a canyon. Our precise location isn't certain, but at least we're a distance from the worst of the fighting. Closure, Horn, Siege have gone out to scout our surroundings. You should be briefed on the specifics soon. We're still assessing our personnel and equipment losses. Preliminary reports indicate the pre-impact measures were effective and losses are acceptable. Medical and engineering units are already at work. Losses are acceptable! Fuck me, people died in the crash. I'm afraid there's been some troubling development. The sky. It's red. Watch your step and keep up with this, Doctor. Oh boy. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh my god. The war has begun between the Dukes and Central Londinium. Suffering extends its reach to every corner the eye can see. From the top of the shard, originium spreads like a plague, devouring, assimilating. And also, there's a catastrophe going on. Buildings, ships, armies, originium devours all and quickly expands. An unprecedented calamity indeed, one that puts even the most terrifying catastrophes to shame. And yet, an army marches through the roiling originium crystals, its tattered banner visible even from here. Suffering is but a marching order for the Sarkaz. The ever-hungry procession of Sarkaz advances to the horns of wailing, sinking their teeth and claws into any enemy they find. Blood-stained boulders litter the wasteland as far as the eye can see, looking decisively out of place. The whipping winds have ceased, giving way to a rising fog. The withered grass remains unstirred, yet countless tattered bandages already dangle across. Sarkaz warriors stand in line, soundless and motionless, waiting for the embodiment of death and decay, the master of war, their king, me, the Nezeru king. A withered figure emerges from the death-filled fog. On the hills he stands. Through the swamps he passes. Out of the fog he glides. Through wind and sand rising from the withered grass. What is this, a wrestling intro? And upon the art's ritual circle he descends. Tattered stripes of cloth fall to the blood-filled columns like a bony hand caressing a tombstone. Only the most seasoned warriors recognize the Nezeru's tattered ribbons, like the banners on castle's walls, belong to generations of ancient Sarkaz tribes. Their form ragged, their symbols unrecognizable, but their scent of war unmistakable. Nezeru, me! I finally appear in this story. Dukrel, Regent's Crimson, Prince of Blood. We were never close, but the contribution that you and your blood have made to the war is undeniable. I bear witness to your glory and shame. Slayer of the Farinmut in the Mist, Jailer of Time. Usurper of the Royal Court, Executioner of Kings. You denied the path that we now walk, as you denied the meaning of the Black Crown. But you gave your first and final drop of blood to the Sarkaz. Your power shall not fade away, nor shall your anger, your hatred, your ambition. He spreads his arms wide. A black fog of decay rises, swallowing every boulder. Red fades into sand and dirt, vanishing into the mist. The warriors do not speak, but the earth begins to rumble as ancient witchcraft spreads across the battlefield. Ooh, spooky! Ooh. War, we nourish you with our best. Their blood and your bones at your behest. I'm rhyming. We are the living and the dead. Together, we march as one. The black fog dissipates. A drop of blood forms at the tip of Nezeru's staff. It is the purest blood, the only blood that death and decay cannot touch. My lich wife! Salus is back! My lich wife! Lowlight, when will she become playable? Come on. When will our lich waifu become playable? One does not simply introduce a living legend without glazing to the high heavens. True. This is the blood of the Tikas. It evoked the call of Nam, but was lost in the battle's art circles. Confessari searched 70 of them without finding it. But Nezeru, your highness, you have found it for the regent. The drop of red liquid drifts towards Salus and enters her wrist. Keep it safe, Confessarius. Of course, I vow to protect it with all the strength in my bloodline, my life. Oh wait, no, this isn't the Lich waifu. This is the Confessarius. Huh. My bad. Sorry for mistaking two baddies. Of course, I vow to protect it with all the strength of my bloodline, my life. The vampiric art circles are still active. What of the sanguinarch of vampires, the purest bloodline, the cruelest of sovereigns, the pride of Sarkas? Did he really die so easily at the hands of a young banshee and a rabbit? Rip Bozo, we kicked him off into the void. He has not joined the myriad souls, but away has he drifted. Okay, confirmation that he's still somehow alive in the void, chilling out with the demons or maybe the Witch King. Sure. Actually, what if he runs into... What if he runs to the Black Empress? She's also trapped in the void? Huh? I'm cooking? What if they can counter each other in the void? We gotta save our Gothic Empress somehow. What a shame to waste so much blood. Meddler bloodlines, do not desecrate war and death with your flippant insolence. Apologies, Your Highness. I was merely lamenting the loss of the Sanguinarch. Then keep his legacy safe. His blood will continue to fight with us. Of that I have no doubt, Sovereign of the Withered Court. The blood of Tikaz will fulfill its duty if a mere tremble of Amnamnam is enough to burn the heaven red and bring upheaval to the earth. Then its final descent shall free our fate from the manipulation of Originium, as the myriad souls have longed for so long. I'm getting hiccups! Fate. War will crush all obstacles beneath its heel, even fate. The Deadwood Throne rises, attended by innumerable war altars, casting a massive shadow on the battlefield. Silent columns of warriors step into the strange catastrophe, continuing their advance. We will advance before the storm. Both the living and the dead. This voice is really taxing on my throat. This war belongs to all Sarkas. Ah! Twunk spotted! A new beginning. Young officer! Ayo, who this? Ayo, who this? Another in the military commission? Okay. New Sarkaz's wife. With the peekaboo thigh and the scar as an accent. Okay, I'm digging. I'm digging the new Sarkaz baddie. Another quote from one of the Sovereign's general. No. I was simply reminded of the furnace at the center of Gazdel. Oh, the big one. I witnessed many feedings before I came to Londinium. It's an honor for a fallen warrior to be fed into it, becoming the fire that propels the progress. But it never seems to be sated, small wonder. The flames of a Revenant's rage only burn stronger. Nadine, would you call the nomadic city by the name of Gazdel your home? What's the meaning behind the question, sir, when the final battle has already begun? I was raised on the battlefields outside of Gazdel. The black rocks and the bones of my fellow Nezeru are the only things buried beneath the city's walls and wheels. She's a Nezeru! Okay, lowlight. Lowlight. Sometimes the gender dimorphism in Arknights is kinda wild. I mean, the Archosauri are like lizard men, and then a bunch of lizard girls. Fleshy lizard girls. And here we have monstrous Nez Salem as the Nezeru king, and then we have Nadine who's just any other sarcasm woman. Sometimes. Come on. Sometimes let loose on the sexual dimorphism. I was raised on the battlefields outside of Wiš'adel. The black rocks and bones of my fellow Nezeru are the only things buried beneath the city's wall and wheels. Where is home if not Wiš'adel? Yes, what other answer could there be? The future is lined with uncertainties, but this much we know. This war ends where a new beginning emerges. Have you made contact with Ursula? No, they were very thorough in mopping up Redwood. Just as he predicted, our casters have picked up a trail of the Farinmouth skeletons' movements. They considered attacking Londinium, attacking the Shard directly. I gave them a chance, far too many chances. There's no question that Major Ursula has been negligent in her duty. She had better have a good explanation if she lives to explain. Have you located the skeleton? We have a rough idea of its location, but it will take time to find it in the vast battlefield. Should I take a squad there personally? No, I will. We will retake the Farinmouth spine or destroy it. It must not fall into the wrong hands again. My brother in Christ, you are the wrong hands. You're going there yourself? Those mercenaries have interfered too much. They must be eliminated. No! He's planning to kill the Arknights trio. Before that, we must finish the ritual. Our Nezeru ritual? I didn't think you cared much for tradition. Cyclops, Lich, Wendigo, Banshee. More and more have left. You've never seen these royal courts in Wiš'adel, have you, young Nezeru? I suppose not. Other than the Nezeru, it's mostly been vampires. Not the best neighbors, but you start to miss their smell when you spend enough time in Londinium. The blood of the fallen have returned to the earth. There will be no new prince of the Crimson Court. They're really trying to sell it to you that the Sanguine Arc is totally stuck in the void, missing in action, surely. How many sovereigns do the Sarkaz have left? There's the Matsi, there's the Nezeru, Banshees are gone, Mama Logos is not part of the war, the Gargoyles are no longer around, Mudrock is with us, nah, it's just the Matsi. The Matsi and the Nezeru. Unless there's more in the Royal Court. But last time we saw in Babel, those were the few that stuck around. Also, Ascalon murked Scar-Eye. Logistics Command, we've encountered a catastrophe near Surfrier Chasm. The Matsi no longer counts as a sovereign? They got reborn, but apparently still operating for the Sarkaz side in some sort of way. It's kind of weird what they've done to the Matsi storyline. I thought the Matsi had a proper end. Well, the iteration of the Matsi that we knew of when they were the main enemy of that chapter, I thought they had a fitting end. It's kind of weird that they were reborn and they're a new iteration of the Matsi is now part of the fray. Logos is a new sovereign of the Banshees. Mama retired. Oh yeah, that's right. We've encountered a catastrophe near Surfrier Chasm. At least I think it's a catastrophe. We're being drowned in a tide of Originium. The ship has lost power, weapon systems severely damaged, all systems inoperative. Defense systems offline, no response from arts unit. I repeat, all systems inoperative. Enemy spotted, taking heavy fire, mobile arts device. Bzz. Data automatic record. Ah, this motherfucker! Trilby Asher! This silly guy. What's this silly guy doing? We know how silly this guy is. This specific Trilby Asher is. Wait, is this the same Trilby Asher from the Kiara event? They wear the same hat, but I think these green accents kind of differentiate this one. None of these meaningless messages made it out. Words are hard. I got sticky soda in my mouth. The entire communications system is scrapped. To think that so many have died to protect this little mailbox. I salute you. Phew, that bow hurt. I shouldn't take my hat off. Oh, bow? Our foes are unpredictable, aren't they? They aren't. There's enough intel about the shard to fill an entire building. But you and I must take the blame for our present circumstances. The man in a hat looks down at his counterpart. The man on the ground lies motionless, buried to his chest in crystal-filled dirt, but a little box that he clutches in his left hand remains spotless. 50-50, they're either chill or funny or complete asshole. The Trilby Asher pulls the rim of the fallen comrade's hat down, covering the face that no one knew to begin with. It took a little more effort to retrieve the communicator, but war has made him a rather proficient undertaker. Intel retrieved. Communications are still being jammed by severe interference. A little progress is better than nothing, I suppose. The Duke of Fife and the 6th Infantry Battalion were ambushed. The landing attempt of the Crumley Plate has failed. Unable to reach a Duke of Gododin's scout fleet, Chatley has been lost. The Dukes are getting murked left and right! Well, at least their fleets are. The Duke of... Mama... what's her face? Mama Allerdale. It is Allerdale's mom, right? Mama Allerdale, kinda MIA. There was a bright flash, and the Gilf was in danger. They did say 3 new Damatsi got reborn after the death of the OG. Chapter 12. 3 new Damatsi? I thought it was only 1. But then again, they can replicate. Unable to reach a Duke of Gododin's scout fleet. Ooh, if 3 were born, maybe 1 can switch sides and become a Rhodes Island operator. We can dream. Large-scale unanticipated geological changes across the Silver Rock Bluffs front. Active Originium concentration above threshold. No good news. Are those troops? The ID code is... the Exemplars? My, what a miracle. I am a lucky man indeed. Oh! Big, great sword. What the hell? Who is it? That's not a silhouette I recognize. 50-50, a Trilby Asher shows up. They're either menacing and scary, or they're a silly guy. That was the silly guy portion of the Trilby Asher. Oh, he got knocked out. Okay. 14-2 after. Chapters along. 3 hours earlier. Oh wait. Was it Horn's sword? Did she get a new sprite where she lifts up her sword? Was she the one that bonked the Trilby Asher? I don't think so. Lifebone is a big target, and we should have left an even bigger trail behind us as we fell. I'm afraid that they'll catch up to us sooner or later. Closure, can you confirm the position? I can only really get an approximate orientation with these maps I got on hand. Damn it, still no response. Ever since the skeleton crash, all our comms went down with it. My drones can't fly too far either. I've never seen this much interference before. Allerdale is the daughter of the Duke of Cumberland. All these dukes are getting confusing. Wait, I think a drone just found something. Over there! What did we find? What's this? A voice recorder? Makes sense, I guess. On a battlefield like this is the next best way to relay intel, short of just shouting. That's the Duke of Caster's crest. Let me have a look. Bzz. I'm short on time, so I'll make it brief. The stone of the sword. Ah, the Realm Blade! The sword that is said to be able to cleave catastrophes in twine. Has arrived at Silver Rock Bluffs. But the sarcasm and their tricks are worse than we thought here at the front line. My advice is head to the battle from the southwest, bring the sword. I have honored my vows, so the rest is up to you, Your Highness. Your Highness? Psst. Did they intentionally leave behind a message for Siege? No change, no improvement. Can tell your new pal that if it doesn't get back in the task soon, I'm going to break whatever bones it's got left one by one. It's long dead, not like it can feel pain. Why not pick something more meaningful to vent about? The skeleton's voice was already ebbing. After the crash, it had stopped responding altogether. No! Ursula! How many gilfs must they murk in one arc? They even murked the necromantic space whale gilf. Goddamn. The nerve bundles are withering. We've tried everything we could think of. Lubricant, supplements, even some crazy witchcraft I've never heard of before. My verdict is, right now it's nothing more than a colossal and breakable skeleton. It can't be dead, can it? I mean, it's already a dead Farron, but you're telling me it can die again? Hey Innes, pass me that mine over there. The one wedged between the bones. Glad you asked. Nearly stepped on it. And also, what kind of psychotic idea do you have this time? Oh, just following your suggestion, I'm gonna find a proper target to blow up. Isn't that old friend of yours supposed to be the skeleton whisperer or something? I'm sure she's still got an unbroken rib or two, so she should be able to talk to it. Maybe. Well, she will if she knows what's good for her. You're gonna threaten Ursula? The fake Ursula who took the name of this Farron? Ursula. She does know plenty of the Farron's secrets, and it's clear she hasn't told us everything. You know who could be able to talk to this skeleton? Mastima. Because her staves have the other portions of consciousness of Ursula. Where's Mastima when we need her? She could probably talk to Ursula. But I have the feeling that she won't be able to help with this particular problem. Right. The source of our troubles is what's hidden in those dark red clouds above our heads. That's exactly it. Ah, the all-knowing Kelsey. Let me guess, you've got more bad news for us. Regular catastrophes have no effect on Farronets, even if it happens to be one that has been dead for several centuries. The tunnels that it travels in can even drill through time. So how is it that a storm can seal them off? What's happening here is beyond the scope of a mere catastrophe. As we were falling, I had a vague feeling that the enormous ancient sentience remaining in these bones had gone somewhere I could not touch. It's free now. Our connection with it has been severed. It might only be temporary, but if we take too long, we might lose control over it for good. Your deduction is correct. On his inspection, Logos confirmed that the Sarkaz witchcraft cast upon the skeletons being disrupted by a massive source of energy. It seems the vampire's ritual was completed. The Confessarius, Wiš'adel, is aiding Theresis and has achieved what Sarkaz could not for millennia. Amnamnam, an ancient wound that refuses to heal. The Kunabula of suffering. Did you see the Beast Lord lore that dropped during the 5.5 anniversary stream? Not specifically the Beast Lord short that they showed off. I have yet to watch that. I only saw the trailers. Mind skipping to the part where we actually understand? I don't have all day. It was the first curse, just as it was the first Originium. The what? Amnamnam. An ancient wound that refuses to heal. The first curse and the first originium. What? Isn't that just a legend? You know, the made-up kind in the storybooks that Hodor loves to read? Legends are a shadow of reality, despite all the untruths and half-lies painted over them. To say nothing of the fact that this is Sarkaz's legend, a TKA's legend. Sounds to me like Theresis is cooking some real serious beast shit to hang over Victoria. I fear this too. This is the reason he chose Londinium as the base of his operations. The shard's ability to influence catastrophes in Originium is already sufficient for it to become Amnamnam's beacon. Across all of Terra as it is now, this is the one place that it can descend. Well, out with it then. How do we wreck the thing? At Terra's current level of technology, there is nothing we could do. Something tells me this is connected to the ancients, and specifically what secrets Oracle gave to Theresis back in Babel. They gave them the secrets of the shard. Why not give them the secrets of the first Originium? The fuck does that mean? Have you figured out something, Logos? The drop of blood that the vampire possesses, the one that he calls the blood of TKAs, it is still fulfilling its duty. The reason why Amnamnam is able to leap across millennia and descend once more is because of his prayer. The blood's master has fallen. The connecting veins hold steady. If we are to prevent the re-emergence of Amnamnam on this land, we must break the vampire's curse, quelling the hatred that resides in this drop of blood. I think I can give it a try. I was blighted in battle with the vampire, and its influence on me has not yet waned. By virtue of this, I'm able to sense where the blood of TKAs is. It is at the rear of the Nezeru army. It will likely be protected in a Confessaria's altar and heavily guarded. The amount of time required to break through the entire Nezeru defensive line would be too much. We could cross the Redmane Mountains, bypassing most of the war zone. Taking that route carries a similar risk to storming the battlefield. Our observational reports indicate that the Redmane Mountains have completely been transformed by Amnamnam's influence. They are now blanketed in active Originium. I need not remind you of its extreme danger. I will take a sip! This chapter is long! But it might be possible. Shining has gone ahead to seek out Quisartustaj. And if things go well for her, she will be able to come to our aid. I support the doctor's decision. It's a plan that saves us the most time. If we keep delaying until Amnamnam Dr. Kelsey speaks of completes its descent and is used by Theresis as a weapon, then we'll have lost any chance we might have had to turn the tide. Even if there are risks, we must forge ahead. I'll need your help, W. You need some hands to guard this pile of bones, right, Bunny? Right. The skeleton is crucial to our next operation. Besides, Hodor needs it too. There's no doubt that the military commission has been watching us ever since we crashed. The way I see it, it makes no sense to hand back something we fought so hard to steal in the first place. Give me a time frame. The time is now 1800. 3 days. The surrounding terrain has been completely transformed. We will need to pass through a wasteland filled with unknown dangers. Given the fact that the battles will with the inevitable in our journey, I estimate at least 3 days to handle the blood of TKAs. An immobile skeleton makes for an extremely conspicuous objective. Guarding this site will not necessarily be easier than the raid you carried out on it. I propose that Ascalon stay behind and protect the lifebone. My job is to stay by your side and keep you safe, Doctor. During the Sanguinarch's attack, it was my error that led to your injury. A dangerous mistake I could not intend on repeating. The lifebone is vital, and Manfred is likely to order an assault. Ooh! final confrontation between Ascalon and Manfred. Fight to the death. You understand him well. I agree. The Sarkaz will be reliant on their commander personally overseeing the battle and making decisions. If you are able to stem Manfred's advance, then that might relieve pressure on the mercenaries. I will respect your decision. What about the gang of useless Victorians? Are they going with you? We'll head to the front lines at Silver Rock Bluffs. Wait, are you saying you want to lead just a couple thousand men, some of whom are civilians who've barely held a weapon straight into battle with the Nezeru army? You have your legends, Sarkaz. We have ours. We have the Sigh of Kings, the blade that can cleave catastrophe in twain. Since the Sarkaz have controlled the storm, then it's time that this sword plays its part. You have been contacted by the Duke of Castor. An invitation to be precise. It is as we surmise, since the Sarkaz started their strange doings, the Victorians, or rather the Ducal Alliance, have been heavily hit. Castor, no, any Grand Duke ought to have figured out exactly what kind of circumstances Victoria has found herself in. We've all seen those altars spewing that red light, or any light for that matter. As it stands, Londinium and all the battlefields surrounding it have become a giant art circle. Oh, shit! We're Full Metal Alchemist misting this bullshit. I see. Just a giant witchcraft circle around Londinium? This is how the Sarkaz fight. Not like Lithanian, not like Ursus, not like any other nation's tactics we're similar with. The Trilbiashers will have told Castor that all the intelligence that they gathered so far is useless when it comes to Sarkaz tactics. The Sigh of Kings. No longer will this piece of steel I hold in my hand be merely a leverage to get Castor back to the negotiation table. It will turn the tide of war, bringing true change to the battlefield. None of us knows when the next catastrophe will strike. I don't know what form Castor's Stone of the Sword will take, but no matter if it's a square room on wheels or an odd contraption on an officer's back, I will find it. If we can quiet these storms, then I dare say that the battle will become somewhat more evenly matched. From Surfer Chasm to the front line of Silver Rock Bluffs, it will take you 2 days even if you follow the road that the Dukes have cleared from westbound Forest to Gibsonham. Gibsonham? Duke of Castor would be more than happy to snatch away the Sigh of Kings. If afforded the opportunity, it will allow her to lead the Dukes in this difficult war and move her one step closer to the throne. Noted, do not let her grab the sword. And she will not be the only one attempting to do so. I'm aware. Duke of Windermere has died in combat and her troops have retreated from battle. If any other Duke withdraws from forces, the scales of war will be tipped even more against us. The war will drag on. Londinium's restoration will be delayed, and more blood will be shed. The Sarkaz and Victorian alike, this is a battle that will determine our ultimate fate. And as for us, we are the exemplars. Wherever a miracle is needed the most is where we will be. Besides, if the sword really can calm storms, as the legends say, I dare say it would help speed along our journey to Londinium after all this. Closure? How do you know I was done with my preparations? To keep things short, your ever-reliable Chief Engineer Closure and her team have come up with 7 different plans to get around the comms interference. This equipment of mine has also started analyzing that super catastrophe's trends and impacts. Originium-triggered reactions always leave a trail no matter how intense they are. Things like dust concentration, activity index, and then their spread conditions. Well, I'm sorry to say that all these metrics are pretty high and as expected, so we can't tell what's going to happen in the most dangerous regions. But we can deduce which parts of the battlefield are safer, relatively. That is, of course, if we can go deeper into the heart of this battle and obtain more data. Misery's agreed to be our bodyguard, but since you guys are already heading over to where there's most action going on, I figured we might as well tag along. So, could we trouble the exemplars to look after us? Gladly. We are duty-bound. Making sure that things don't get any worse is Rhodes Island mission. Right, Kelsey? Thank you, Closure. Doctor. Let's go with Amiya. Could I go with Siege and Closure? I prefer to stay here with the skeleton. What is this illusion of choice? Our path might be the most dangerous one after all. But it'll keep you safe, Doctor, just like always. I know you fear for the safety of each and every operator, which makes you hesitant to choose. But the truth is that I need you to come with me. What? So we can go behind enemy lines together? So we can deal with the altar problem? There's no changing what we will face during our final confrontation. Originium has shaped the history of the Sarkaz, just as it will shape the futures of us all. Perhaps you still have misgivings about why Rhodes Island must intervene in this war. I did not have the opportunity to explain in the past, nor could I give you a precise answer. I have never doubted the dark clouds above the shard concealed some dreadful unknown, yet when it has revealed itself, as it has now, I still find myself confronted by mixed emotions about Teresa. I'm not one to explore the subject of fate, especially not yours or mine. But now fate has reared its head and is coming our way. You don't sound like your usual self. Originium's effects are far beyond any of our comprehension. Are even yours? Of course. Doctor, I hope. No, I believe. I believe that you are still the one who can change everything. I've never had any doubts either. Doctor, I think we should get going now. Let's go. Not gonna ask me for a 21-gun salute? Not saying W unsupervised with Kelsey and the Mia siege group is literally gonna charge ahead on an army of Nezeru while surrounded by... You're not staying with W? Yeah, I mean... Who knows what she'll be up to, but she's not the type to charge straight ahead. She likes her subterfuge. She likes setting up bombs secretly. When there's a bomb to be set off, she's probably gonna trigger it in the most opportune moment. Sometime in this chapter, we're gonna see a bomb blow off. And we're gonna be happy about it. Take care, W. Look, little bunny, I'm not the sheep over there. I'm real hard to kill. The exemplars are ready. Glad to hear it, Siege. Remember, everyone, time is of the essence. Every minute, every second of this battlefield, there will be people who are suffering because of Originium. Our mission is clearer than ever. Stop the spread of Originium. Stop Num Num. What is Num Num? Right. And then we plunge into the darkest depths of the fog. To Londinium. We'll bomb that tower and grab Terra's biggest bastard out of the rubble. We'll stop the disaster before us and any more yet to come. Okay, the cards have been laid. That is the beginning of... Hold up. The beginning of... the chapter I have to pee. I have to pee and then we will continue. And I will get a glass of water. I will be right back. I have returned. Okay, a little recap of everything that's happened so far. We were about to take the life bone towards the center of Londinium, but they started casting apparently the big bad ritual that they were meant to cast all along. They're trying to summon Num Num, the first curse, the first Originium, whatever that is, and make it descend upon Londinium, and that's what's interfering with Life Bones' connection with Hodor. We have to get the connection back up. It's just a romance between these two, a subtle romance that we have to save or some shit. So the Exemplars are heading out. All hell has broken loose. The catastrophes have been set upon the battlefield. Num Num has begun its descent. Amia's squad is headed towards the altars to interrupt the ritual so we can get the life bone back up. The Exemplars are heading out into the front lines to meet the Dukes. What else? The Arknights are hanging back to protect the life bone. Manfred is on his way to assault the life bone. There's a lot of bullshit going on. And that's that. Let's head into chapter 3. Little does W know, we were the biggest bastard on Terra. Correct. 13 hours into the operation. The further we go, the more dire the situation becomes. Freshly rent canyons, diverted rivers, pathways that withstood the weight of great nomadic cities, now torn, distorted, warped beyond recognition. The maps of the past are now no more than scrap paper. Every trail must be charted anew. There is no doubt that the blood of the Tikaz lies this way, though. Our bond yet hums. The closer we get to the heart of the battlefield, the higher the rate that Originium integrates with all information. Hey, yo! Originium integrating with all information? Hey, yo! The rocks, the soil, the waters, the peoples. Originium's influence has its clutch around virtually everything on Terra, yet perhaps we have long forgotten the fundamental principles of how it works. And what did you mean by information just now, Kelsey? Yeah, even Doctor caught that. Perhaps you shall find out rather soon, Doctor. Or maybe no, never mind. Objectively speaking, this Originium-contaminated terrain does give a tactical advantage to Theresis' military operations. In contrast, the Victorian front is all but shattered. But this level of Originium actively still pales in comparison to the catastrophe strike earlier. Theresis will never use Originium so recklessly just to gain a slight tactical advantage. That much I know of him. He knows the consequences. Sounds like we're in for a difficult journey. There's a vehicle heading this way. Halt. The truck shudders to a stop as several familiar faces hop off. Wait! Wait a minute! Are these our guys? This is Julie's squad. Isn't this Julie's squad from within Londinium? Did they survive? I mean, they're using the basic NPC sprites, but that's what I'm assuming. It's not Julie's squad. Cheat. Master Banshee and the King of Sarkaz. I told you we shouldn't have taken this road. We can't run away now. Oh, it's Paprika squad. Ah, I see. Where is Paprika? Oh yeah, she's still with Manfred. We gotta get that child out of here before she commits a war crime. Well, it's not like they're bad guys. You weren't supposed to... Weren't you supposed to stay at the Lifebone? Well, I'll be honest here. Master Banshee, Your Highness, we were scared, terrified, having to stay inside that skeleton, not knowing who or what might come running over the hills to attack us, so... we ran. Oh, she's with us? Oh, right. I keep forgetting where and when people are in this arc. Paprika's with us. They ran away, and we found them again. I know that desertion is a crime, but we were never going to be of any use, were we? Back in the Babel stream, they were saying Julie dying at Steam Night was a spoilers. It wasn't. I don't know what to believe anymore. I will see it with my own eyes. So I beseech you, my lord, your highness, please don't execute us. We'll happily take the whip instead. However many lashings you wish. I'm not going to execute you, and I never demanded that you fight for me. If you want to go, then you may go. Oh, thank you so much, your highness. You are wise and merciful, and... Can we three go along with you? Sure, don't say no more. Her Highness has already done us an incredible kindness by sparing our lives. You would still demand more of her. Don't be a fool, shopkeep. How much of a chance do you think the three of us in that broken truck's got? We'd probably be blown up by a bomb, or worse, W's bomb. Your Highness, this is just my humble request, but please get us off the battlefield. I'll give you everything I have. As long as these two live, I'll swear my undying fealty to you. Theresa's ordered Julie's squad to ambush Steam Knight in Mausoleum of the King at the start of Babel's story, which we know later that it was a flash forward of the end of the Babel event. She got sent by Theresa's to kill the Steam Knights at the beginning of Babel. Ew. Julie killed all those Steam Knights? Julie and her squad? Something doesn't add up here. No. No, that's not the issue here. If you were to follow us, I'm sorry to say that it would be just as dangerous. What do you think we should do, Doctor? I can't imagine they'll survive on the battlefield on their own. They might expose our whereabouts to the military commission. The ride's not bad. We could commandeer it. What the fuck is this? Can't leave them on their own. Our squad was sent there to kill Theresa's, so they should be decent at least. I guess, but the Steam Knights are like the premier fighting force of Victoria. I don't know. Something is amiss. Very well, then, driver. We can travel together for a while. After we pass through the war zone, you should leave Victoria once and for all. Oh, thank you. My deepest gratitude, and please use our transport. It should carry us far enough. Oh, King of Sarkaz, you're a most magnanimous soul. I truly do not know how I could repay this kindness of yours. The coin. Huh? The coin I gave you. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Ah, good timing. I did drop it. Here, for you, my lord. I was wrong to beg it of you. It was my honor to serve, Banshee Lord. How could I have expected payment for such a privilege? I think they're scared of you. I hope you don't think me a miser. I need to ensure that they are not imposters. Oh, okay. Show me the coin I gave you. Are you Damatsi? Surely. Every time we see a person here, we gotta ask, is this Damatsi? I mean, he was right. Logos was right. It could have been Damatsi. need not fear, I hold no malice against you. Logos moves his finger and the coin in his palm vanishes, only to reappear in the shopkeeper's hand in a heartbeat. Ooh! Magic! Is a rock Damazi? Maybe. It's looking at me funny. The shopkeep stares, first at the hand capable of quaking the earth and shaking mountains with a single pen stroke, then at the coin in his own hand, and finally back at the deadpan banshee, unsure how to react. Was that a magic trick? How delightful! You are a man of many talents, sire. I better go help the driver start the car. I mean, that's some levity, at least. The most interesting performance. I saw Scout and Outcast demonstrate it several times, but I could never get the movements quite right. It is my lack of skill that made for a lackluster effect. Why do you have to mention both my goats? Why do you have to mention Scout and Outcast? I've never seen this side of you. You have to see him stool racing sometime. Doctor, there are times when I also regret the fact that many of our shared memories have disappeared into the ether. We never did talk about the past much. I suppose the right time never came up. If we ever find ourselves time to reminisce about the ordeal, after this ordeal, perhaps you will be pleasantly surprised about the anecdotes of your past. Oh, that's gonna be a conversation. But for now, we must go. I mean, we're gonna have to reckon with our past sooner or later in this event. Oracle was the one, not we. Oracle was the one that killed Theresa. There's no sound here. This stillness is strange. I can't hear the sound of our breathing or the vehicle's engine. I can't even hear my own heartbeat. Is this some kind of Originium arts? Could someone have blocked all sounds in the vicinity to conceal themselves? No, Mia. Listen carefully. It is not that sound has forsaken this place. Instead, there is a great tremendous roar, so great that it drowns out its lessers. It is the deafening cry of death itself. Look over there! That leaf! A leaf hangs from the lowest branch, its surface tinted with vibrant yet bizarre colors, like the work of a haphazard artist or sunlight reflecting off a puddle of grease. Like the vestiges of some arts. It is rotting. Decay unhinges its maw, gnawing at all in its sight, leaving behind only iridescent bite marks. Within a few seconds, the sprightly yet strange coloration spread across the entire plant and even onto the other bushes. Oh boy. The once succulent leaves became drips of foaming liquid, leaving behind only bare vein networks quivering in the wind. Just like a fin bee skeleton after its flesh has been picked clean, unceremoniously discarded. The wind rises as if wanting to tear their skin. It is the sigh of an unsatiated beast. Logos, the marsh! Silver incantations flow forth, plunging into the depths of the marsh. Did you manage to stop it? No. Oh. The muffled sound of water sloshing ripples from the marsh, echoing about in deathly silence. The sound of foot pulling from the ooze, then stepping down again. Steady unseen steps churn the muddy water, slopping it to the shore. Prepare for battle. Stay where I can see you, Doctor. Blackhearts shoot into the marsh, but the burst of sound quickly dies down, as though swallowed up. The steps begin again, their rhythm unchanging, their resolve unyielding. A tattered hem floats above the surface of the water as ripples crash into ripples, becoming a chaotic jumble of lines and shapes. I don't think this is Damazi. Monster. A dazzling beam of light spews forth from Monster's mouth. I forgot that Monster has a hyper beam. The shining lance is lost amidst the dark swamp. The slow sloshing changes. Ah, it's the dude that we saw knock out the Trilby Asher. This is the guy from the gameplay. Huh. Whoa. A series of hurried footsteps erupt in silence, and all lost sound returns once more. A brilliant cacophony of an ear-splitting din. What is this? Is this a Nezeru? Oh shit, it's a Nezeru. Death. Death has come for you all. Stay back, you, whatever you are. Look out. Cage. A pseudoram. A burial shroud still wrapped around the corpse. His body is already rotten away. Conventional attacks have no real effect. It's a zombie! This is a form of witchcraft innate to the Nezeru, or possibly an ancient tradition. Nezerus devour life to nourish their bodies, but all bodies have an end. Once at the cusp of that end, powerful Nezerus will nourish weaker ones with their flesh, gaining unfathomable speed and strength in return, alongside witchcraft energy that no ordinary body could bear. In so doing, they become even more powerful creatures, while their nourishment allows the Nezeru society to sustain and grow, just as fallen leaves nourish the land supports new lives, an eternal cycle. Flood. The muddy waters of the swamp rise swiftly, like a curtain immersing the Nezeru up to its torso. At the same time, incantations wend and weave their way onto the group, holding back the rot's incessant bite. Over there! Quick! We'll head into the forest! The hell are we supposed to do about a zombie? Don't step on the mud.
Even the swamp is whispering into my ears.
With the swamp rising, or perhaps the mist sinking, the ground becomes a gaping mouth trying to engulf all. The group struggles through the mire, each breath growing more labored. A singular thought seizes the collective mind. Living is a tedious and futile effort compared to the peaceful eternal slumber that awaits if they simply turned around and embraced death. Ah! My 3 a.m. demons once again here to meet me. 3 a.m. demons, get back! I fought you yesterday! Stay back! Monster, protect the doctor. He's here! The only sound they hear is the whistling of the corroded blade as it swings down. The Nezeru, the one who walks alongside death, has arrived before them. Swing! Did Monster also feel the pain? All life withers before his arts. If we are caught in the Nezeru's witchcraft, our life force will be sapped and become its nourishment. He's fast! Did he come from the mud or drop from a tree? Either is possible. From life to death, from blossom to wither, they draw upon the entire life cycle, turning it into seeds that produce new Nezerus. I can feel it, the unending flow of witchcraft energy flooding towards us. Not just from the enemy before us, from the marsh, the trees, it's everywhere. We have been wrapped in the Nezeru's shroud. By his hands, death hangs above our very heads. Only by tearing apart the barrier of witchcraft can we defeat him.
Minor, am I about to die?
He's tired, shopkeep. Here, hold on to me so we don't get separated. Driver, hold my hand. Whatever you do, don't fall. She's fading out of consciousness. I can't hold her up much longer. Ordinary healing techniques won't help. Nezeru witchcraft is devouring us all. Leave me. I'll only hold you back. You can let go of us. I know that if it wasn't for us, you and Sir Banshee could fight more easily. No. I promised that I would get you out of the battlefield, and we're in this together. Is that so? Good. The scent of blood. It pervades the air. Its driver and the other's wounds. No, this blood is witchcraft. Huh? As in, a vampire? This forest has Nezeru's and vampires? Shit. Oh my god! Vampires! A thin fog of blood floats around them. This is entirely different from the Prince of Blood's arts they witnessed before. It is subtle, like delicate strands of silk, nearly smothered by all-encompassing mist of decay around them. But it is these silken strands that slightly stir the stagnant air. Mia, feel the flow of wind. I will expose the weave of this shroud and locate its weakest point. Got it. Black arts gather before Amia's body, condensing into a spear. Logos raises his hand, pointing at the deepest depths of the thick fog. Pierce. Ugh! Herald of death. You resist the spread of rot, but to no avail. In the end, death will claim your corpse. I have never once doubted that. Disperse. Shoo, go away. His giant blade falls, sticking into the soil like a gravestone. The Nezeru shroud flutters and billows. In an instant, his imposing figure disintegrates, leaving behind only several tattered strips of cloth falling gently onto the ground. Is he dead? Ugh, I can finally breathe. No, shopkeep! You don't say that in the middle of danger! Clack, clack. It's the sound of bone scraping against bone. A withered hand stretches out of the mud. Ah! Watch out! It fell apart? Looks like it to me. Oh, phew. When did you become such a badass driver? Shouldn't we keep going, Your Highness? Yes, it's best if we leave at once before Nezeru reawakens and catches up to us again. The vampires. Imagine living between a Nezeru and a vampire. One side smells bloody, the other side of decay. Typical day in Castel. I wasn't expecting a vampiric art circle here. It's still working. Those vampiric arts that suddenly appeared as we were fighting the Sudarim, was it because of this circle? I forgot that they had these vampiric circles all around Londinium, causing hallucinations and shit. It was a long time. But there are these circles around. I'm sure you're well aware, Mia, that those arts were casted by a vampire. Perhaps a descendant of a vampire? I assume that while the Sanguinarch has been taken off the battlefield, the gifts he bestowed will not so easily fade away. It doesn't matter. I'll do my best to put these corrupted lives to rest, as I've done before. Logos, could you please assist me? Amiya. The sound becomes ever clearer. Coming from behind the blood-stained boulders, it is the sound of limbs dragging across the ground. A sound they've heard countless times in previous battles. Mia notices the expression on Logos' face. He looks not at the stone columns, but at Mia, a trace of emotion flitting across his eyes. It is sorrow. Mia recognizes it easily and instantly. She has felt sorrow countless times since the war began, sometimes from an enemy, but mostly from her companions. Driver. Well, shit. Fuck. Okay. Right. Rip? Your Highness. When did it happen? Was it while we were fighting the Nezeru? Yes. When we left the skeleton, I brought along a rock that the military commission had ordered us to transport. I thought since it made us stronger before, it might come in handy in battle. It really did help, right? I never dared to imagine that I could fight alongside you and defeat that strange enemy. You used the blood crystal left behind by a vampire. Did you pierce your body with it? No, that wouldn't have induced such a drastic change. You swallowed some fragments. You willingly accepted Ducarel's blood and arts. I've always had the vampire bloodline, even though it's pretty faint by now. But I could still sense the Sanguinarch's call, even if it felt nothing more like a whimper. I've seen those worms crawl out of Sarkaz's corpses before, so there's no need to pity me for not knowing the consequences. Instead of dying in the gutter like a real worm without so much of a yelp, I rather accept this power and die in the battlefield, like a real Sarkaz. This isn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. A few months ago, while driving aimlessly through the wilderness, I heard a broadcast about what was happening in Londinium. And somehow, I just drove all the way here. Shopkeep says I read too many stories about knights. That's rubbish. Everyone knows that Kazel doesn't need knights. I just wanted to know if there was a real path in life that I could follow. One with a proper end. If I could give some meaning to my life without just wasting it. And then I met you. The path of the King of Sarkaz is a path for me. We fought alongside each other on this path. Like you said, we're in this together. And now the fighting stopped, at least for now. My buddies are still alive. Your Highness, you can deal with me as you see fit.
Deal with you? What are you talking about? Driver, why'd you become like...
Real scary, aren't I?
Your Highness, please, I beg of you, help her. Lord Banshee, sire, I humbly return this coin to you. It is the only thing of worth I have.
Witchcraft is a trigger for her condition, not the cause. There's nothing I, Mia, or even Dr. Kelsey could do to reverse the changes.
Then, what are you going to do? Don't tell me you're going to kill her just like you killed those red worms.
Stand aside, Shopkeep. This was my decision. Your Highness, I heard that, in the past, the greatest warriors of Sarkaz, right before they died, could request the king to grant them a vision. I don't know if I count or not. Mia raises her hand. Black arts coalesce at her fingertips. A desperate smile emerges on the driver's face as she unconsciously looks at the top of the goddess's head, searching for the legendary black crown. My king. What will I see? I just hope it won't be me driving that piece of junk around Kazel. Driver, can you tell me your name? Your real one. Is this part of the ceremony too? Well, if I knew your name, it would be a lot easier. Marilla, a common name. Marilla. Sorry I never stayed in Kazmiesh for long, so my pronunciation might be off. No, it's good. It's been so long since anyone called my name so gently, ever since my mother died. Marilla, I refuse your request. You won't grant me a vision? I suppose. I was never a warrior to begin with. No, that's not it. I refuse to let you die here by my hand, Marilla. You have not become the vampire's creation. Your looks have changed, but I don't sense you becoming any more evil or bloodthirsty. And even if you are showing a bit more of your ancient bloodline, you're still you. You do not deserve punishment, nor should I be the one to give you your honor. But you are the king of Sarkaz. Please, call me Mia. Miss Marilla, I've had my fair share of worries because your team isn't comprised of Rhodes Island operators. I was thinking earlier about how we could get along with you three, but in truth, it wasn't a problem at all. If you wish to fight alongside us for a common goal, then I welcome you with open arms. The young goddess keeps her arms outstretched, her blue eyes blinking. The Sarkaz woman grasps her slender fingers. Despite not feeling much sorrow, 2 rows of scarlet tears still flow down her cheeks. Driver lives! For now! But as we've seen, Avoiding a near-death situation at the start of a chapter does not give you plot armor. How dare you, good luck! She lives for now. She's gonna be important later on, surely. Surely. Were you watching Amiya? She's changed a lot in these past few years. She's become more mature. The core of the vampire's ritual is changed. It is no longer just a tool to amplify the strength of the Sarkaz, nor a simple collector of energy. It is deepening the Sarkaz bloodline's bond with Originium, with Amnamnam. Deepening the bond with Originium. That's an interesting framing. The blood of Tikaz is playing a role in this somehow. The strength of the Sarkaz bloodlines act as a direct catalyst to the Originium spread. In turn, the information within Originium empowers bloodlines, changing their powers and other traits. Interesting. Okay. Timeline-wise, the Tikaz were the natural inhabitants of Terra. And then, the Ancients came along, Oracle came along, the creative Originium, and supposedly brought Originium to Terra. And then, Originium started affecting the evolution of the land, but most specifically, the Tikaz. That's the current timeline that we have. Interesting. Especially about information. Containing information, rewriting information, assimilating information. What are you, Originium? The effect of these arts seem familiar. Didn't Cells merge with a lot of bloodlines? Confessari are skilled at bringing out the power of bloodlines. Yeah, I remember that. We must be ready. The threat that Amnamnam represents may very well be far greater than anything we expected. Okay. A lot to think about. We continue. Salis was the Confessari woman? Yeah. 23 hours into the operation. We have a timeline of 3 days. Wabam! Wabam! Oh, siege! The route ahead is already cleared. I'll continue scouting the Sarkaz army's movements. Haven't found any trace of them yet. Thank you, Nezeru. Continue to set up those sentry posts. Morgan, found any surviving Victorian soldiers where you're at? I'm afraid not. Nothing but Originium crystals here. We haven't run into any Victorian troops, corpses, or wrecks since we entered the westbound forest. Damn it! We can tell. Am I gonna give them a British accent? Man, my mind is kind of fried right now. Nah. Damn it, we can tell there's been a bloody huge battle. So where have all the people gone? The terrain here keeps changing. Maybe the ground ate them all up. You cannot underestimate the tenacity of the people. It is only because there are those who refuse to give up that the exemplars even exist. It's why we're here in the first place. Shearer, keep the medics ready to receive any army remnants and civilians. Oh yeah, right, Shearer joined up. We've got extra supplies, so no need to worry on that front. Bad news is that with so many infected among our troops now, it's almost impossible to distinguish between infected and uninfected soldiers. I'd like your professional opinion on that matter. Would registering the infected help our men or not? Funny you should ask. Registering the infected. That might have been the first thing they taught me at military academy. But where we stand now, I'd say there's no real sense to it. I see. Then let's stop registering them. Just try your best to provide everyone, infected or not, with Rhodes Island's recommended protective measures. The rest is not up to us anymore, at least not for now. Let's all focus on surviving this war first, then we can worry about the wars to come. Oh, my drone's back! How awful! The entire propulsion system has been clouded up with crystal dust. Based on monitored data, environmental originium concentration is still fluctuating wildly. Send me that data you just got, Rock. We've got a new iteration of the originium activation trend model, and I want to see if our calculations fit real-world data. Tap, 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 tap. Looks like there's not enough data to do that. The trend of this curve... Let's wait for Victor's team to finish off that diffractometer analysis report. Then we should be able to calculate the safe areas in real time. This place freaks me out. It's like 1 minute it's deadly quiet. The next there's some terrifying originium mountain pushing its way up out of the dirt. The safe areas keep changing. Although we've managed to re-establish short-range comms after working our asses off, if you go even a step out of range, all that interference just get in the way again. Good thing I planned ahead and asked Radiant for our arts unit before we left for Londinium. After a little copy and paste, I made a knockoff version. And it's not as good as the real deal, but it should help. Once we've got all these portable communication towers up, we'll be able to transmit the locations of the safe areas to anyone on the battlefield who needs them. This information will save many lives. Well, yeah, that's what Rhodes Island does. Horn, status update. We've successfully arrived at Gibsonham. It's the last supply point before we reach the front of Silver Rock Bluffs. The reconnaissance teams already made their initial scouting report. Looks like there are traces of ducal armies here. Must have passed through on the way to the front a few days ago. I think we can confirm at this point that the route Trilby Asher provided is safe. Is there anyone in town? The streets are empty, but I can sense a flicker of shadows and the smell of food. We decided against contact to avoid unneeded misunderstandings. Understood. We'll rendezvous with you as soon as we can. It's getting dark. Seems like everything's going smoothly. Best we let our fighters get some rest and some hot soup in them. Remember to save some for my team. They'll be taking a while longer to get back after the work is done. Rock and I still have to head over to Feist. Not sure if we'll be able to double our communication range by nightfall, but we'll do our best to finish ASAP. No need to worry. We'll save the best for your people. It's all just the same canned provisions though, right? Would you like some engine oil for dressing then? Oi! And they're all laughing. All units, continue onwards until you reach Gibsonham. I hope things can be as peaceful tonight as things are now. Foreshadowing is a narrative device. The background CG kinda looks like Gigi's hometown. Must be a coincidence, right? All the houses seem to be empty. Have the residents gone into hiding? Gibsonham's not far from the Duke's defense line, so I doubt the Sark has ever fully captured it, not to mention that the ducal armies just passed through a few days ago. Horn's caution is warranted, though. There might be some scattered ducal troops who want to reconvene with the main army and decided to camp out here first. Although Trilby Asher is helping us out with his advice. I'm about to sneeze. I sneeze. Victoria's never exactly been a model for unity. GG did come from Victoria. It's probably the same BG, just a bit altered. Not to mention the complicated nature of the exemplars. I dare say there are a few old-fashioned military nobles who would rather not tolerate our very existence. I see. Then let's show them the full scale of our forces. It'll deter those with ulterior motives and alert anyone who needs our help to our arrival. The rumbling of traveling tanks reverberates through the quiet night. The low roar of engines, forceful yet steady. We have tanks now! Siege and gang just picking up all the stragglers that they can, all the surviving troops that they can, and absorbing them into the exemplars. Soldiers cautiously advance, observing their surroundings, but still all they see are pitch black windows and doorways. Doesn't look like they want to make first contact. That's fine, as long as it means that we can get along. Wait, I hear something. From building in front and left. That's the sound of artillery shell casings falling on the ground. An ambush? On your guard, everyone. I'll lead a team to scout ahead. First squad, second squad, follow my lead. There are no signs of life in the abandoned factory. Contrary to expectation, there is no sound of an explosion following the fallen casings. Are you sure that was falling casings, Horn? Absolutely sure. There's a special model only allocated to elite Victorian troops. No traces of anyone living here. Don't move, Siege. Yeah, Horn can apparently recognize the specific casings used by elite Victorian operators when they fall onto the ground. That's some military autism right there. Okay. Siege carefully puts her foot down back to where it was. Horn points at a thin tripwire barely visible against the ground. Ooh, a booby trap. Nicely concealed. What with the surrounding piping obstructing the view, real tricky is a spot. A booba trap? No, it's not linked to any explosives, just a simple alarm system. Based on how they've installed it, I'd say they're military. Should we try to initiate contact? Yes, everyone, get behind me. Prepare to engage. Hello? We don't mean any harm. Our unit's called a secret passage. Get ready to enter. Stay behind my shield. Halt! We're not... And there they go. If it was a W bomb, it would have been the alarm system. Help! Where are you running, my guy? Bagpipe! Yes! We're getting the gang back together! Tempest platoon! I knocked over some spent ammunition while on watch. How could they have heard that from so far away? They avoided your alarm too. These troops, I don't think they're any ordinary. She can block your pile driver spear? We are so back. We are so bagpipe. Let's go! We're so bagpipe! Captain? And Siege too? It really is you, Fiona. Lady with long red hair suddenly throws herself into the arms of her captain. So you were alive all along. Wonderful. How wonderful. Horn gently releases Bagpipe from her embrace, then claps a hand on her shoulder. Good to see you in one piece, and in rather good shape too. Considering that you launched Bagpipe from one of your spear rockets, yeah, she's in good shape. I'll make my report now, Captain. I've done it. I've managed to extract the intelligence of the Spectre Force, and I ken what they're planning now. I survived! I got my memories, I got the truth, and I stayed alive. Your orders, I never forgot a word of them. Good to hear. I knew you could do it. I always knew. Welcome back, Bagpipe. Wait, you're not. Everyone, we mean you no harm. It's alright to come out. One by one, silhouettes emerge from the shadows. The elderly, children, the sick, and the wounded. Civilians. Hundreds of pairs of eyes stare at Siege and her men in fear and curiosity, taking their measure. But wait. Bagpipe and Chen are traveling together. Where's Chen? I don't see a long around. Where is Chen? Where is the blue woman? You're not with the ducal armies. Most of you aren't dressed like Victorian soldiers. In fact, you mostly look like workers to me. That's right. We're not under any of the dukes. We're called the Exemplars. Yes, the forces are all coalescing together. Shear's counting up the civilians who are hiding in the factory and giving them a checkup. All he can say at the moment is that it's looking better than we expected. They split up in Chapter 12? I may have forgotten that. Then again, Tallulah in Reunion is also getting dragged into this. So I think the best place for Chen to be is around where Tallulah is at. She's probably looking for Tallulah. Aside from those infected soldiers under the Duke of Fife who came along with you, and a small team of military engineers under the Duke of Normandy, everyone else are just local civilians who couldn't escape. The Ducal Alliance armies came through here a few days ago, but they rather give up a chance at being rescued than seek help from the Grand Dukes. It's understandable why the soldiers would avoid them. They're either worried about their status or the status of their infection, or worried about the court-martial. But as for the civilians, perhaps this was the year the people living around Londinium got to reassess their country and those decorated higher-ups. Bagpipe, how did you manage to get their trust? Are you listening, Bagpipe? Huh? Oh, aye, Captain! You need to pay attention during tactical meetings. The map's on the wall, not on my face. Sorry, Captain! Orn lets out a small sigh. I really shouldn't be asking. You are Fiona after all. I'm just a wee bit glad. The Exemplars, the Tempest Platoon's predecessors, I guess the rumors were true. I'm actually amazed you still remember what you learned in military history class. She paid attention! Chapter 12, they only found injured soldiers, people, and children. That's a lot of baggage. Well, of course, when I was still at training camp, Triangle made sure that I committed this fact to memory. Out by the training field, the sycamores were full of leaves blocking the sun just right. Then there were rocks at the top of the cliff, hard as well rocks. Handle sting if you tried to climb them. I remember when cello and oboe had a wager on who could complete the rock climbing training course the fastest. The loser had to do 100 push-ups. 100 one-hand push-ups. Oboe was a right fool. Who would have taken that bet with cello? Maybe you should have reminded him back then. You were even sitting on his back the whole time he was still doing those push-ups. I was just helping him with his training, and I'd say it turned out all right in the end. He was just a hair behind cello the next time. He's dead. Tempest Platoon was wiped out during Chapter 11. The Exemplars. When the Tempest Platoon was first established, nothing was left of this legendary unit from the War of the Four Nations, not even its unassigned unit ID. But now, it has returned once more to the battlefield. We're all members of the Exemplars now, Bagpipe. As long as our team is still here, we will never stop fighting the good fight. It was during Chapter 9? That it was. I said Chapter 9, not Chapter 11. Nope. Yeah, I made no mistake there. Haha! Siege! Isn't there a strategy meeting inside? Why are you standing out here in the cold? Just wanted to clear my head for a few minutes. Did you think I was someone else? Beardor. No, not really. I believe you. If someone suddenly popped out of the fog tonight, I wouldn't have any expectations either. Not everyone is as lucky as Horn, reuniting with the person they most want to see. Luck, eh? That's a luxury around here. That's enough blues for tonight. We should head inside. Wait. Victorian soldiers? Are they the remnants of those who stayed behind? No, they can't be. I never noticed them until they got this close. They're the elite of the elites. Caster's men. Ah, it's positively frigid out here. My hands are frozen stiff. The days truly are getting colder as they go by. Why, I've only taken a little jaunt and my full plate's already half soaked through. What is this? Who is this? Who the it's a duke. Ah, it's a Duke of Gododin. They came here for the sword. You're not getting the sword. My young friends, why won't you invite me inside to warm my hands for a spell? Since you've come all this way in person, I suppose we should show you some courtesy. Delphine? Yes, Vina? Let's show the Duke the way. They did invite them there. But we're not handing over the sword. We need the sword. It's gonna cleave the catastrophe in twine. Okay. He was chatting with the Duke of Caster during 13. Chapter 4. Excuse me. Who are ye, sir? Feel much better. Once you reach a certain age, you come to prefer bright and warm places. And is that beans I smell? I was cooking some beans for dinner. Do you want some, sir? Don't mind if I do. Oh, would be better if I had some seasoning from home, perhaps some marinated meat. I was thinking the same thing. We got it in. What is it? I ken who ye are now, and you're a wee bit different from wits in the news. Ah, well, you can ask your captain. I held her when she was wee. Little Rita touched my horn and asked her dad why her dad didn't have one. I apologize for my insolence at that time, Your Grace. Not many have the nerve to touch my horns, Lieutenant Scamandros. You showed courage from a very young age. Or should I say, all of you are brave warriors of Victoria. Your defense of Châtelet was outstanding, as was your performance at Brentwood. The exemplars you call yourselves. I've long wanted to meet you, though it seems your leader does not welcome my presence. Pardon my frankness, Your Grace, but it is hard to treat your sudden appearance as a pure gesture of good faith. Oh, of course, Lady Windermere, I understand. Especially in these times like this. I sent men to the urn-clad Galavay. They were traveling quickly, but fortunately I made it in time to present funeral flowers to Amphelis. I appreciate the gesture. I assume the Duke of Gododin hasn't come all this way just to give us a medal. What if I say I have? Most of us are neither nobles nor intelligentsia. It would be best if you didn't beat around the bush. Your Royal Highness Alexandrina is as direct as they say. Or would you prefer that I called you Siege, like your friends do? I fully understand why the exemplars avoided the ducal armies along the way. You didn't want them to get involved in the machinations of the dukes. You want to fight only for Victoria and her people, like the legendary unit that you're named after. And so, I'm not here as the Duke of Gododin. I'm here as Sean Gododin, Member of Parliament, to extend an invitation to the Parliament-authorized Templar's platoon and the rest of the exemplars. Leave that outdated identification code behind. I'm asking that you intervene in this war in the name of the Parliament. Simply take the knee. Just take the knee. Give up your ID. and work for us, for our interests, please. Typical rich bastard. Bend the knee. Ooh, misery. The miners' camp was burned to the ground. No sign of Sarkaz soldiers. Misery feels a slight chill. The campsite's charred debris has cooled. He moves some collapsed wood beams aside and finds a few unrecognizable bodies. Miners, remains of the infected. It's all the same everywhere. What's that sound? Ah! Even more zombozos. Nice hiding spot, Sudaram. Nezeru spotted to the northwest of Gibsonham. Oh shit. Northwest? Are they coming close? Out of comms range already. Oh no! We won't get Misery's heads up. Town is about to get attacked. Death has you. Several rune swords pierce out of the ground beneath Misery's feet, but he is no longer there. Swing! Temporal magic. Misery rips through the fabric of space with his dagger and retreats out of range. The collapsed ruins turn into a cage, trapping the Nezeru's withered bodies. Shush now. I have you too. So they are completely unaware of the danger that is coming. Misery is built differently. I still say that they should make a majority of the elite operators fucking playable. Why they're only playable in IS, I have no idea. Like update the recruitment. The temp recruitment. Temp recruitment? The recruitment list. Make them into 5 stars. Make them into free accessible 5 stars so we could actually play in other modes aside from IS. Duke got it in. I understand that the Victorian Parliament has not held a session for a long time. Everyone who escaped Londinium knows that the Sarkaz have been the ones giving the orders from the palace of Wiš'adel during this time. Oh, of course, I don't deny the present circumstances. Why don't we cast our gaze further, though, to the future beyond the war? The future? Isn't it a little too early to be bargaining over that, if bargaining and coercion were synonyms? Oh, you misunderstand me. Gododin is not caster. I would much prefer to sit by the fireside than gather at the negotiating table. I'm more about drinking and playing cards with friends. It gets cold rather quickly once summer is gone. Mind if I have my men add some wood to the fire? You might as well have them come in. Oh, thank you. What is this, show of force? Ah, that's much better. Oh, where were we? Ah, yes, the future. I mean, that was an obvious show of force. We know that the war will end, and Victoria will triumph. The war will inevitably bring, or should I say, has already brought about irreversible changes, ending a 20-year stalemate. If anyone is in the room is interested in the empty throne, it certainly isn't me. Oh, excellent, excellent! See, we already have a consensus. As a matter of fact, I had a little meeting not too long ago and saw the Iron Duke in person. Seeing him always reminds me of when I first saw the Gestrel. Like so many other children who grew up hearing tales of the Empire's death knell, I searched for the shadowed ruins that belonged to Lingonus. Only to find not Gaul, but the glory of the strongest nation of our time. So splendid that I could not bear to turn away. You want us to believe that you care more about Victoria than Gododin? Oh, make no mistake, I would never call myself a patriot. A duke must always put his dukedom before all else. This is not just a matter of interest, but also of duty, a responsibility. But I wonder, what is the difference between Gododin and Wellington? Wellington would still be Wellington with or without Victoria, but what would become of Gododin if the light of Victoria went out? Perhaps it would survive, but things would certainly not get better. You don't want the Grand Dukes to really divide Victoria. Oh, I'm not the only one. You know that. As strong as Victoria is, she is not without her rivals. Ursus, Lithanian, Columbia, Sargon, all the ambitious nations of Terra have their eyes on us. We need a single, unified voice to bring stability. This is why Parliament exists. All the ducal realms will select an appropriate representative, including Windermere. Stare. This is what the Exemplars mean to Victoria. No soldier who fights for the cause of Victoria will need to fear their betrayal again. Oh, the Speaker of Parliament has always been the king for the entirety of the Rhodes' existence, but that does not mean that he or she must sit on the throne. And this is what you can mean to all of us, Your Highness, Your Royal Highness Alexandrina, if you are willing to become our queen. A puppet of Parliament, if you will. No one speaks as the Duke's words sink in. I mean, he's not wrong that at this point in time, Victoria needs a unifying symbol if they're going to survive past the war. A queen is a symbol, but they're also willing to use her as a puppet for Parliament. He said it himself, the real king is the Speaker of Parliament. But they don't have to sit on the throne. The one that sits on the throne can be a symbol. That can be their role. I don't think Siege would go for that. Only the crackling of the fire godded and lit can be heard. I have only one question for your grace. If all of this could have waited until after the war, then if I refuse now, can my friends and I leave with a sigh of kings? Oh yeah, right. They also came here for the Realm Blade. Ha! Siege? Crossbowmen outside! We're surrounded. Maybe we already were the moment he showed up. Well, well. First we learn what a commitment is to Caster, now we learn what friendship is to Gododin. Oh, friends treat each other as equals, do they not? Yes, I too shove crossbows into my friends' faces. Definitely something friends do to each other. Which is why I'm gonna stick this crossbow in your face, chat! Your pull plan is so much panic! Ah, Vina Victoria! Yeah. He seems like an exciting pull. My offer remains fair. At the minimum, I gave this young friend from Gododin the opportunity to point her pile driver spear at me. Great. So we got these two factions pointing their weapons at each other. Meanwhile, the Sudaram, the Nexerers, are coming closer to their position. What could possibly happen? Lost a signal from Drone 6 again. Blasted place. Alright, Balin, Yvrez, Victor. We have to do this manually. Status reports, everyone. All good here. The beacon's in there and the sensor's running. We're still getting strong interference from the wind and sand. I'm still trying to filter out the noise. Waiting on you now, Victor. 5 minutes. The ground's softer than expected. Careful, quicksand. The soil's very different from the samples we collected. I've sent the data back. You got that, Captain? I knew it was a good idea to get you on board, Yvries. Worth a few days of angry stares from Earth Spirit. I think you could do better with... You can do with a better working environment, Closure. Try not to get too much sand in your mouth. Stop talking like a Mia Balin. My blood is self-cleansing. Cuff cuff. Hey, don't just laugh at me, keep working. The sooner we get the signal tower set up, the sooner we can broadcast the safe zone locations, and the sooner you can go to town. I'm trying. Rhodes Island equipment isn't like anything else I've ever seen. I'm already doing an exemplary job. Get it? That's a joke. Seriously though, you and Rock shouldn't be here with me in the first place. You have my drones. Of course I'm staying here with them. Well, that is a solid reason. I know you're concerned about my safety, but I'm actually really strong. What's that? Those vampire worms? Would disagree? Well, not all vampires are built the same, you know? It's you two I'm worried about. Put your helmets on. Oripathy infection is no joke. Alright. But you lot are the ones who need to be careful running around the battlefield like this. You lot? Rhodes Island. You lot are all over the battlefield not caring about your own safety at all. Balin isn't infected from Victoria, Ivris is infected but not Victorian, Victor isn't infected or Victorian. How amazing. Why? Everyone knows Rhodes Island operators come from everywhere. I can't help but think of my granny, Clavisia, plus Tommy and the gang. I once hoped that the Self-Salvation Corps could be as united as Rhodes Island operators I'd seen. Well, people aren't really good or bad. As circumstances change, so do people. Maybe one day. Wow! Materialist analysis from Closure! One day, the Self-Salvation Corps will become a tightly knit, united group. Just like the Exemplars, now all fighting for the same thing, we're ready to brave the worst, ready to deal with defeat, even betrayal. But it's not necessarily race, upbringing, or circumstance that will unite us, just like Rhodes Island. Alright, enough with the compliments. I know you want to keep our equipment. Should I get you a contract now? I'm not jealous of Rhodes Island, Miss Closure. You lot give me the same kind of feeling as this strange communication equipment you're holding. A possibility. Something that proves I'm not just a naive dreamer. Wait. Maybe your monologue is starting to bother Closure, Feist. Whoa. What's that sound? Let me check the feed from Rock 18. What? In the monitor's pixelated image, a sandstorm approaches quickly. Catastrophe, but I don't see the data. Beneath the wild sands are tattered banners and the chanting of war. Ah, fuck. Nezeru. What are they doing here? Go. You two leave now. Everyone from the Self-Salvation Corps head to Gibsonham. Now! They are headed towards our position. Oh boy. And meanwhile, Duke of What's-His-Face... What's that sound? Oh, they're here. They're already here. Okay. No time to argue amongst ourselves about the future of Victoria or some shit. Nezeru. They've arrived. Sarkaz, they're already here. Battle stations, open fire. Explosions. Sir, the Sarkaz are attacking the town. We have to leave now. Oh, they found us quicker than I expected. Looks like the Sarkaz remember the success they had with Amphilis. One of the attackers. Nezeru Elite, sir. Your Royal Highness, you and your people must leave with us now. This town is not worth defending, but you and your friends are of paramount importance to the future of Victoria. Our battleships can take us back to Silver Rock Bluffs. Front in 3 hours. That is where you belong. Me or the sword? Sir, we don't have the time. You don't have time and don't plan to fight even though you know how many civilians there are. But of course you wouldn't. They're not important to you or the Parliament. These poor families wouldn't produce a single member of Parliament in 100 years. There's no place for them in your game of cards. I simply have my sights on reality, Your Highness! Reality. Reality is that the future of Victoria you dream of is found in grand halls filled with noble coats of arms. My Victoria is here with these people.
Sir! Very well, Your Royal Highness. You're like your father at times. Naive, reckless. Is that so? Not that I care. I don't remember anything about him. Ha! Very well. Good luck. This asshole. Guys talking about polls in chat? Order all combat-ready personnel on the plate to their stations. Now. On it. Delphine, have Lieutenant Shearer get the logistics and medical staff ready. Already done. Follow the plan. Protect the civilians. Prepare for battle. Okay, here we go. The Exemplars will survive. I think something's wrong with the diffractometer sensors. Nothing's wrong with it. You see, Victor, I'm getting the same results. It's not always the equipment's fault that you're not getting valid data. The data itself may exceed the scope. Originium reaction metrics are above the default limit. They're coming, guys. We have 3 minutes. Victor's the youngest of us. If nothing else, we should try to get him out. Who did you think was the reason that I signed up for the Londinium operation? Never could just do what you're told, could you? How are you doing over there, Closure? Still alive. I've got my drones and they're loaded with... I think I hear the sound of drones crashing. They used to be your babies. You knew it when you ordered the self-salvation core to pull out, didn't you? This was the last chance to escape. The Originium activity data is incomplete. I needed data from all of you. Mia's not here, so you're my captain, Closure. You all talked to Mia before we came to Londinium. Stop a war and save both Victorians and the Sarkaz. With just a few of us, that's next to impossible. But I chose to trust all of you. Trust in the dreams of Rhodes Island. There isn't a single Rhodes Island operator who doesn't want to see the day when there is a cure for oripathy, when everybody's living a better life. Doesn't that sound ridiculous to most folks? My only regret about dying here is that I won't get to see that day. You get my data reviews? Yep. Just send the newest batch of data over, Captain. Oh, and I'm not that selfless, so don't forget to put my name in when you publish your paper. No! They're dying! Will do. Communication failure detected. Signal lost imminent. No! Our operators! Boarding energy fluctuation data. Initializing automatic analysis module. Catastrophe scale confirmed. Developing prediction model and Originium-induced environmental changes for the next 24 hours. Captain, shield damaged. They're about to. Hang in there, Reese. Moving towards your position. Bzz. Make it happen, Closure. I will. The engineer's eyes are glued to the screen in front of her. Faster, faster. If they fail to compile the Originium activity data, then all the squad's efforts will be for naught. The din of war approaches. Only a few drones remain. She can feel the enemy's cold, freezing breath. Model successfully compiled. Outputting safe zone locations. Yes! All that's left is the signal tower. Whoa! They're here! Vampire! Traitor! This war will go on and you will feed it! Yikes! My drone! The Sudarame's blade slices the hovering drone, sending it crashing to the ground. That was her last combat drone. Get out of the way! Your arts are weak and pathetic! How could such a frail vampire exist? Ouch! Searing pain erupts and Closure feels an entire side of her body go numb. The breath of decay invades her. Closure can barely hold on to the signal tower. With great effort, she plants the complex equipment onto the ground to lean on. Insufficient signal strength. Strong interference detected. Unable to broadcast safe zone location. Please follow equipment manual. I know, shut up! What kind of vampire are you, Closure? Close those wounds, hang in there just a little longer. Just get this thing upright. No! Closure! Flashback. Sleeping in the corridors again. You'll catch cold. Rhodes Island's basic functions are online. I think she's ready for a grand voyage. Thank you, Chief Engineer. You've delivered your promise. We want to leave this ship and go back to Kazzel. Right, you told me before, you're not interested in that place. But at least promise me you won't call yourself a talentless vampire anymore. You're the most talented person I've ever known, Closure. You're just different from other vampires. So here's my offer. As long as you still want to see the vast and unexplored parts of this land, we'll always be each other's companion. I can't. I won't. Won't let everyone down. And myself. Closure can feel the Sidorm's cold grip close in around her neck. War has finally claimed her. Closure! Who? A survivor. Signal. There's a signal. Rhodes Island signal. Grab my hand, Closure. Fang! Doberman? It's me. It's her! It's Fang! She's all grown up now! She's a full-fledged operator! Can you stand? Fang. You. Ugh. She got confused by the midriff. A dagger pierces the Sidorm's chest, causing a massive burst of energy. Misery is here! Sorry, I'm late. Nezeru gave us a location. More are coming. Almost got it. Cover me. Keep them away. Let's go! Flag bearer Closure! What is this? Hey yo! John Hypergriff Lowlight, what did you mean by flag bearer Closure? It's the signal tower! She made it into a flag! What is our mission? When Closure first joined Rhodes Island, then known as Babel, she asked many operators this question. She got a different answer every time. Some dreams are big, others less so. Some gave details, others mumbled, scratched their heads, and gave an abashed smile. But there comes a time when they all have the same expression. The time when they all make the same choice. Almost there! This is the last one! Core module online. Communications restored. We're coming, Closure! Hang in there! We sent your location to the Exemplars. Help is on the way! Finally! He's dead. Rip! Closure! Closure! Are you okay? Keep your distance. Cover the artilleries and the crossbowmen. The appearance of the Nezerus is closely linked to the catastrophes. Do not fear their witchcraft. However bizarre it is, it's still arts. Remember how we marched through the catastrophe? We survived the catastrophe. We'll survive the sarcasm. Bagpipe. I'm here. The Duke of Godden spoke the truth. Templar's platoon is under the direct authority of Parliament. We have an obligation to answer Parliament's call. It's a more legitimate cause for action than the Duke's invitation. Not to mention that by accepting his invitation, you, Robin, and everyone who came with us because they had no choice will have proper identities. Identity? Did you forget, Captain? I'm retired. Besides, in that standoff with the Duke earlier, you didn't hesitate to put your shield in front of Siege. True. Word is, Siege is carrying the Sigh of Kings. Have you seen it before, Captain? I have. Siege was right. It's just a piece of metal that happens to mean something to some people. Troops approaching our flank. No ID code, but I recognize them. The Duke of Godden's men. They've engaged the Sarkaz and covered one of our squads just now. Good. If that Godden's way of showing us friendship, then we'll show him the same in return. Attention, exemplars! Stand with the soldiers of Godden. No one step backward until the last foe is vanquished. Peak. The ship has reached cruising speed, sir. We're out of danger for now. Oh, good. Thank God. Oh, battles give me, the heebie-jeebies. The Sarkaz's witchcraft is most peculiar indeed. Better to fake a moment of vulnerability than to have them constantly harassing our rear. The leader of the Nezeru has not been sighted, nor any other known powerful Sarkaz. I suppose they don't see Godden as nearly the threat that Windermere or Wellington are. I could call that a relief. The size of Kings has not left Gibsonham, sir. Should we move on to the next phase? What do you think of them? More of a challenge than expected. Alexandrina's forces are growing and they are more organized and effective than we thought. Oh, I don't mean them as an adversary. Exemplars, like you said. They look the part. And they've worked well enough for the troops that we left behind. Rita is with them, and looks more like the legendary White Wolf than her father did, and Windermere isn't quite as weak as the intel we had on her. Maybe it's not such a joke after all, that those kids could become the Exemplars. Do you intend to abandon the plan for us to escort the Realm Blade then? Abandon! Such a strong word! It is the future that Godden values. Alexandrina, the size of Kings, the Exemplars, even Rhodes Island. Perhaps we'll cross paths again on our way to the future. This slimy motherfucker. Our tanks are fighting the last pocket of sarcasm east of town. We've successfully defended Gibsonham. It'll serve as a supply point on the way to Silver Rock Bluffs. However, the terrain has changed. Delphin learned racism, so she got more tough. Goddamn. The environment around Londinium is constantly changing because of Num-Num's influence. That's still a funny-ass word to say. Num-Num! 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 Why'd they have to choose a silly word? For the big bad threat. Fissures, cliffs, and rapids that should not have been there are emerging everywhere. Silver Rock Bluffs is almost constantly under severe catastrophe. It's hard to say where our foot will land when we put it forward. I wouldn't have believed this was our Londinium if I had anything less than absolute faith in Rhodes Island's data. The sun on the meadow is summery warm, filling our home with euphoria. After this war, we might have to change our national anthem's lyrics. Is this time to be having a laugh? You wanted to say, we'll think about it after we take it back, didn't you? But even if we really went back, would our home even return to the way it was? That's why we're not just going to win the war. We're not going to let the Sarkaz destroy Londinium in the war. We'll overcome the storm ahead. And we won't abandon the home that the storm has ravaged. Feist told me his squad picked up more distress signals nearby. There may be more lives saved yet. The areas where fighting occurred with the Nezeru will need to be cleaned up. Rhodes Island operators will provide the usual assistance. I want the Exemplars to work with them on these post-combat affairs. establish supply lines, rescue and transfer the injured, and rally those who want to join us. The troops who returned from the front lines have assembled. Counting in the Godeden soldiers who had their IDs wiped and the exemplars who far exceeded the scale of the regiment. They want to join us. I met with our officers. They said the Duke of Godeden left before they could board the transports. This piece of shit motherfucker! He left behind some of his own men! Fucking dukes. Preliminary screening indicates that all of them are infected. That's why he left them behind. There we go. Sounds familiar, eh? Just like how the Duke of Windermere's forces left behind Delphine and the Exemplars. Last chapter. Last episode. Duke of Godeden left behind his infected soldiers just like the other dukes. Or maybe he intentionally picked a bunch of soldiers who had unfortunately gotten infected and sent them over to us. I suspect he has ulterior motives. The performance of those infected troops indicates that they're different from those we've seen before. I wouldn't call them stragglers. Oh, politicking! Oh, he coincidentally left behind some of his best men who also happened to be infected. For Vina to just pick up into the exemplars. Ooh, the politicking. This slimy bastard. If Godeden's intention is to keep an eye on us, then we should probably try to lose these people, or at least separate them tactically. No. You know the Dukes better than I, Delphine. There's a very good chance that you're right. But right now, there's nothing we need more than unity. If even the Exemplars chose which parts of Victoria they united, what would happen to the future that we dream of? Godeden very likely knew that we wouldn't reject those men, that's why he left them to us so easily. Then we need to be ready. This is not the first challenge we've had to overcome, nor will it be the last. Sarkaz, Amnamnam, Castor, the Dukes. It's not just one storm that the Exemplars will have to weather. I'll let Lieutenant Shiro know. He might have some spies in our midst. To be honest, everyone's happy to get some new blood. Plus, they're all infected. If it's really true that Godeden has not abandoned them, that in itself is worth celebrating. Perhaps the unity that once seemed impossible is actually within reach. For a united Victoria. Underneath the leadership of the Realm Blade. It's a miracle to run into people like you. We're not a miracle, ma'am. You are, all of you, for being strong until the very end. Oh, thank you so much regardless. I can still move. Let me help you with the others. This way you can get some rest. You're not much older than my own child, now that I get a better look at you. We have about 10 minutes of rest before we head to the next location. Closure? A little more time? There's not much room for improvement on that arts unit you're holding. Even Radiant and Mechanist could hardly do better. Conditions will only get worse from here. The better I do, the safer you guys will be. Thanks. Rescue work around Gibsonham is complete. Next, we'll be going to where your squad's signal was lost. I see. We'll find them, alive or otherwise. Even if they're buried in the sand or Orgenium, there will be traces. We'll find them and bring them home. I know how I feel, but Fang, I want to hear your thoughts too. Is it regrettable for a Rhodes Island operator to die in a war between the Sarkaz and Victorians, when they have nothing to do with either side of the war? It's not about this specific war specifically. Rhodes Island fights for the future of all Terrans. Of course it involves us. Any sacrifice is regrettable. After Ace died, Beagle cried so many nights with her shield in her arms. Why him? Why there? Why then? And then casually, Hodor is just working with us now. I hope Hodor and Beagle don't meet. Then again, the one who killed Ace specifically was more or less Tallulah. It was Scout, though. Scout was killed by Hodor's squad. Shit. Shit. I get that feeling too, every single time. But what I really want to know is, how did the people who sacrificed feel? I'm sure they have their own regrets. We're none of us saints. That's why we fear death. That's why you feel pain over your decision. But I have no regrets about participating in this operation. If not for Lava, Hibiscus, or our other Sarkaz friends, then at least for the people here, even though I don't know any of them. It was a catastrophe that brought me from Columbia to Rhodes Island. That catastrophe taught me one thing, that suffering does not discriminate. I came here today because I know that you will come when my home needs help too, when the people I care about need help. You're right. We'll be there. Rhodes Island will be there. We... Rhodes... Fuck! Okay, the tears are coming down now! Okay, okay! We're crying now, boys! We're crying now, boys! We, Rhodes Island, will be there! Okay, Okay, congrats! Congrats, Chapter 14, you got me to cry this early. You know something? I've been addicted to the web since a very young age. Because that's the only place I know without segregate. Fuck! Fuck! The other vampire children and I, Vampire and other Sarkaz. Sarkaz and everyone else. Catastrophe. Nations. Class. Disease. It was Theresa who took me from the confines of my home and showed me another possibility. A ship that sailed... Okay, tears! Oh, the tears! They're running down my cheek. A ship that sails the waves of disaster, rescues those who are suffering, and fosters companionships beyond personal interest. Sounds surreal, huh? But the road that Rhodes Island has traveled thus far is very real. I'll continue to analyze the anomalies caused by Amnamnam. I also want to hear your answer to my question. Kelsey's and the doctor's too. This data belongs to Yvris, to Balin, to Victor, to Rhodes Island. One day, it may belong to everyone. Okay! Through these story reading streams, I have sensed that there is a pattern with Arknights writing, actually. Because it seems like there are full arcs from start to finish between 4 to 5 chapters. Just an observation. But anyway, that'll be it for now for our first story reading stream of Absolved Will Be the Seekers, Chapter 14. Who added me? Add. Okay, there we go. We will continue this. Okay, let's try to predict this. We ended off at chapter 4. So, ended off at 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. We can end off at 9 next stream. I think we might need... we might need a number of streams for this. So I think we'll continue reading in the middle of the week. Aside from every weekend, because this is gonna be long. So there's that. We will schedule it. We're probably gonna stream on Wednesday. And then we'll continue again on Saturday. And then when H stages come out, we'll be playing then. But that will be that for now. Thank you to everyone who stopped by, chilled out in chat. watched us react to the story, and or use as a second monitor content. Once again, my name is Nez, and thanks for watching. I'ma see you guys next stream. Bye-bye, friendos.